to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. To the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. Yeah, we Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. It's apparent these girls staring. I'm Ric Flairin', gold across my chest. I'm fresh to death. I'm Paul Bearing, not at all scary. When I open like Betty Wops and find to these circles that's going in like a carry shot. Woo! I'm going in like a Mary Pop off that Mary Crop at the top flow at the Marriott. So questioning me is like questioning you. See, we the best dressed, so come and get blessed with the crew. Not one but two, different ways to slaughter your crew. Committed tat across the chest, I guess she blessed with the truth. People want to see them checks, representation of proof. Living through my elders trying to resonate to the youth. But ain't nothing to get my flash on. Longevity is heavily embedded in my melanin. Layman terms, I last long. My grind repetitive, I'm smoother than real silk. Lyrical cash cow who can't cry over spilled milk. We in here. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. This ain't no normal situation, this preparation with greatness. Industry full of fakeness, it's really up for the taking. See, life is what happened to you, more so how you take it. Don't get stripped of your knowledge and mentally leave you naked. I like to live otherwise. I'm sorry that I'm fresh to death. I put the polo and apologize. See, black son, we ain't nothing like them other guys. Quit to socialize, we organize, then we mobilize. Off the deep end like a scuba diver. And no confusion, just keep it pushing like Uber drivers. Woo! Business fresh just like a supervisor in a Gucci visor. Can't find a smoother rhymer. You're talking to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring to the Rolex wearing, diamond ring wearing, kiss stealing, willing dealing, limo jet flying. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it. We Ric Flairin' on it, flaring on it.
Yeah, DQ baby. Shout out that boy Nigga for that fire track. Hey, Black Sun, sun up. What's up, Vinny Vegas? What in Vegas? Yeah. Shout out Pharaoh's Kids, D-Phase. Yeah. Bubba C. Yeah. Ric Flairin' on them. Ric Flairin' on them. Ric Flairin' on them. Ric Flair, son up, baby.
Hey, yo, Scotty, we back.
Yo,
Appreciate you for reaching
you a
out.
star.
I'm like, hey, it's outspoken. A lot changed. Granted, the concept we still hosting. Giving you the fix you need when on the screen. The veteran, Captain Petty, giving you medicine. Come tap in. You know Scott gon' do what he do. Might not want to hear it, but here go the hard truth. Perry about the numbers, regret if you're not fact-based. When you run your lane, the numbers seem like a statue. Wait. Hey, Scotty, man, I'm not feeling it. I don't think the people feeling it. Let me get in my bag a little bit, just showing what this outspoken really about to be like. Outspoken, this is more than conjecture. These days they laying people off. So glad that we got our own. Hunger insatiable, made for you if you say you objective. Hard truth offering, no offense, just perspective. Come get your dosage and go with me. We spit it like poetry. The pivot was pivotal. Could rhyme here, but I'd rather not. Some say Scotty, some call him Scott. The best one since Stewart. If you know, then you know. But if you don't, then you're lost. Let me be frank for a minute, cause we all know that's how Perry be. Break it down the game for what it was, no apologies. This my hypothesis, you tune in, you like watching it. It's common sense, obvious, competent, rugged, and confident. Hey, we outspoken. We outspoken. We outspoken. This is outspoken, and we gon' put on a show, even if we hear you say I can't stand. It's outspoken.
Hey, back.
Woo! Happy Tuesday!
It's your boy Scotty back with another one, and you are watching Outspoken, and it couldn't go down without my brother from another. Give it up for Barry White.
Happy Mardi Gras, everybody. Happy Mardi Gras. Yo.
Hey, pause. Those some big bees, bro. Those some big bees.
Hey.
Those some big ass bees.
Let's see if where the women at in the chat. Who trying to get some bees today? Where the ladies at?
Oh, hold on. I wish I could find that song. Let me see. Where is that? Yeah, this is right. I think this is. Maybe is this it?
What you got?
Come on.
Hit it. Nah, that ain't it. That ain't
Looking
it.
for some bounce music or something?
Nah, it's a song that I. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it. If this is it. Nah, I gotta find it on YouTube. Go ahead, keep talking. But Fat Tuesday today?
No, next week.
Oh.
It's the Mardi Gras season. I'm feeling festive. I've been to parades. I've been enjoying myself. Gonna continue to enjoy myself. You ever been to Mardi Gras?
Nah, I never been.
Damn. We got to attend you a Mardi Gras parade. What you got? We can't hear it.
You can't hear it? Oh, let me bring it. Oh, let me share it then. My bad. I found it. It's the Jake right here. I don't know if you know about this Jake.
Where the ladies at? Yeah. Where the ladies at? Yeah. Where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? Check it out. Where the ladies at?
That's it right there. That's it right there. That's my DJ skills that was stuck in my head. Where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? Where the ladies at? That's a little dance hall. You know, in Maryland, you were very eclectic with our.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. Where y'all at in the chat? We trying to get some beads on this Tuesday.
That's a big ass bead.
Yeah, I got plenty. All colors, lights, whatever.
Oh, man.
I got something bigger than these.
You got beads bigger than those?
Bees bigger than these.
Bees bigger than these.
Bees bigger than these. All right.
Oh man. Well, I want to be very clear. I've learned over my time in this space that Alabama was the originators of the Mardi Gras, and New Orleans, being the grimy SOBs that they are, stole it.
That's where we're going with the show.
Hey,
That'll start a whole thing.
Listen, the Boondocks said it perfect. He said, them niggas from New Orleans is grimy. Okay? So, once again, they stole it. The true Alabamians, whatever they call themselves, they said them Bama stole it. So,
and that's fine. Everybody. Hey, the best ones, though, you can go to New Orleans all you want and enjoy the parades. I went to New Orleans this Sunday, went to the Femme Fatale parade. I'll be back this Sunday for the Bacchus parade. But, the best one, some of the best one is when you start going into these small towns, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like a New Rose, Louisiana. Man, I had a good time in New Rose. So I'm starting to name places that some of the folks that ain't been to Louisiana don't know. But, man, you can find a good time in some of these little small towns for Mardi Gras.
You know how foul you gotta be to admit to stealing it. Like you admitting to stealing. We stole it and made it better. Like what?
That's fine if you celebrate it, but you may not quite do it like they do it in Louisiana, right? Because I think in Mobile they have like Joe Cane Day, I believe. That's
the thing. This is what I'm saying, Barry. It's like you stealing my car and putting 20s on it and be like, but I made it better. But you stole it.
Not necessarily stealing it. It's like you bought the car first, and I said, "Hell, I'm gonna go buy the same car," and then I put 20. You can have that car. I'm just gonna show you what to really do with the car. I'm gonna put a whole kit on it. We're gonna lift that bad boy, put some neon lights around it. You know what I'm saying? Gonna deck out the inside. Gonna put some 12s in it. Look, that's all that happened. You can have that car you want. I don't want your car. I just wanted a car like yours to show you what I could do with it.
You didn't even know the car was hot until I had it.
Hey, you had it. That's what's something like, man, you know what I could do if I had that car?
Oh, that's funny. That's
all. We just took the car. We took it to pimp my ride, and that's it. We just hooked us up.
Somebody said St. Martinville, Louisiana was the joint back in the day.
St. Martinville, Plaquemine, New Rose, Lafayette. Baton Rouge does it a little bit. I went to a parade Sunday after I came back from New Orleans. They got a big one this weekend that some people don't really like. Some people do, called Spanish Town. But, it's all about, parades everywhere.
Smash. That's fact, Smash. That's true. You spitting bars, my boy. You spitting bars. You know what I'm saying? You spitting bars. Oh, man. So, all right, man. So it's just about parade. I mean, but y'all always do parades in New Orleans. To me, it's like in Louisiana in general, y'all are parades. You're like the parade capital of the world. Like if anything goes, parade. Oh, let's do it. Let's do a parade.
That's why I love it here. Parades, festivals is always a reason to pick up a drink, eat some good food, and enjoy people, man. That's really why I love it here. That's people say, man, why you still, man, I cannot get enough of this. Between the sports, the festivals, the parades, I love it, bro. And then the weather then finally got back right here. So, you can't beat the weather and have an opportunity to go outside and that's why we tailgate, having good tailgates here. We practice all year for football season.
All year round.
All year round.
We get it together.
Everybody else, their first time getting out is football season. That's when they finally pulling out the tents. Man, it's going on right now.
That's just a little too much for me. I ain't even gonna hold you. That's a little too much. I just,
like the get-togethers, the outings.
No, I do. I like a get-together, but every week. Like my baby said, it's something. Because me, listen, I'm not a drinker. I'm not a smoker. Listen, I need a couple Sprites and I'll be turned. Right. My thing is, I like a good time, but I like it like I don't want to say intimate because that sounds weird, right? It's just like when you just got like good close friends, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all playing cards or something like that. Like a 10, 15 people. Like I don't like to be, unless it's a sporting event. I really don't like to be out and about with a lot of people because I don't like people in my bubble. And I start getting, like I can't get mad when people bump into me and stuff because I'm out with a whole bunch of people. We all trying to coagulate and migrate to where we got to go. So I'm on a low key type feel. Like I like to get together. Like if it was you, BJ, Perry, my boy Nick in the chat, Perry. Like if we all got together, like 20, 30 of us, and we just having a good time playing spades, cards, like that's a good time for me.
When we do that, we need a second line band. We need a DJ. Hey, we need some crawfish. We need a pot boiling shrimp, crawfish, everything else. We need a grill rolling. We need all that. Matter of fact, we're going to shut the whole entire block down. We just finna have the whole neighborhood outside.
Now, I'll do something like that, like shut the whole block down, like a nice little block. I'll do something like that. Just, I guess I just like traveling, right? Because if you travel, I don't drink. Everybody looking at me like, oh, so you driving back? I'm like, I don't really feel like dealing with drunk people. Listen, man. I'm just very particular. I can't stand a drunk person in my space.
Oh, well, you don't need to see New Orleans on a Sunday then.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't go out. That's why
when them second lines and they get that footwork going, I live for that. That is what I live for. Drop me off and I'm okay. I'm with the people. I'm a man of the people.
I'm gonna find my way back. I'm gonna find my way home. I'll find my way home, boy. I tell you.
Man, you gotta attend a good Mardi Gras one time in your life. One of those good parades, like a Zulu parade on next Tuesday. You talk about Fat Tuesday. Zulu parade next Tuesday is going to be a great one. A lot of people like Endymion parade. That's on this Saturday. I personally like the Bacchus parade because of the bands, right? And you get a lot of those. And that's another thing, too, why I like the Mardi Gras time. Of course, I'm a fan of bands. And in South Louisiana, particularly New Orleans, instruments and music is accepted. In many other places, they like, man, that's some lame shit, whatever. I don't care. If it's lame, it is what it is. I'm down here where it's accepted, and I love the acceptance.
You with
watching them, huh?
You with the people that understand you.
Oh, they be like, come on. Hey, I'm talking about you just walking in. It's just random bands battling folks' front yards and grocery store parking lots in the middle of the street. And the people love it. It's of the culture, and I love the culture.
That's dope. You know what I'm saying? That's high quality stuff. You know what's high quality? Elite 15 coffee. All right, Elite 15 coffee, high quality coffee. You know what I'm saying? Veteran owned business. You make sure link is in the description below. Elite 15 coffee, some of the highest and finest Colombian roasted coffee. You want capsules? They got it. You want Folgers in the little cup, the old school, what your grandma and your granddad used to do when they used to stuff the little white. Everybody had a white coffee maker back in the day. You got the little white coffee maker. They do that too. However you want it and want to be made, Elite 15 Coffee can do that. Make sure you hit the description below. Veteran-owned business, Black-owned business. You know, do what you do, but watch my shoes.
And they can throw coffee off the floats. They can give everybody free samples of coffee off the floats.
Actually, he's from Mobile, so he went to the Mobile version, the real version, the original.
You just need to attend the Mobile Mardi Gras one time, the Joe Kane Day and all that stuff, and then come over here and we can hit up a South Louisiana small town Mardi Gras. Then we can hit the big city of New Orleans Mardi Gras. Then I'll let you, however you feel after that. All that they stole this, then you'll say, man, I see what you're talking about.
You still stole it. Listen, you open that invitation to Key. Oh, anything Louisiana. Listen to what Key said. Key said, I love that little dirty city. She loved Louisiana. Like,
hold on, you don't send your wife down there because you don't want her to earn no beads now.
Listen, if my wife earning beads, listen, she about to have the whole thing. Hey, you know what I'm saying? So she about to get all up.
That's right. Keep earn them beads, girl. Get them beads. Get them beads. That's what they there for. That's for fun. It's for memories. Lifelong memories. You remember the time we went down there and I got those beads? Yeah. That's what that's for.
Memories. Yeah. I don't know about me. So, so have a good time. Have a good old time. Stop
that Debbie Downer shit, man. And look, it's a festive time of the year, man. We festive down here and we love it. All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
If ain't nobody on here ever been to Mardi Gras, come on down one time.
One time for the one time.
Come on down here. I sound like I'm on the tourist board for the state of Louisiana.
One time for the one time. He said, I've been seeing Smash. I've been seeing titties since I was 6.
No doubt about it. That's Smash New Orleans through and through.
Through and through.
You hear his voice.
Listen, Outspoken. You already know what it is with Perry. Hot and viral. Perry, when this came out, bro, I just wanted to hear your opinion. I told Key, I was like, I gotta hear Perry's opinion on this.
What?
Fly. So I know you seen Taylor Swift swag surfing at Kansas City when they won the game. Did you see that?
I did not.
You didn't see that? Okay, well, she was swag surfing at the game, and some white reporters reported like, oh, she was doing this dance, and they didn't know what it was called. So after they figured out what it was called, swag surfing kind of took off in the white spaces. So word on the street is the people that made the song, FLY, I think it's like Fly Life Youngsters or something like that, what it's called. Or something like that. But it says Taylor Swift can remix swag surfing as long as she raps on it. What is your opinion on that?
Well, they see the money opportunity is what they see. That's why you stretch into that white space. That money it rolls in.
Mm-hmm.
It starts to come in. So of course, in Taylor Swift, when you're talking about football leading into the NFL and all that stuff right now, she's the hottest. It's people talking more about Taylor Swift than they are the Kansas City Chiefs.
That is facts. That is true.
And unfortunately, I'm going to say unfortunately for the football lovers, you don't have time to hear about no damn Taylor Swift. But for the NFL and the people that's trying to monopolize on this opportunity and take it to the next level, get more eyes to the Super Bowl than the normal football fan, Taylor Swift falls right in line in what they're looking for with that pop white culture that you can draw in from the little girls all around the United, little white girls from all around the United States and have them glued to the TV because at any point, they cannot wait till they show a glimpse of Taylor Swift at the damn Super Bowl. Not a first down, not a touchdown, not an interception, just a damn 10-second glimpse of Taylor Swift. So, hey, if this group says Taylor Swift can remix it, if she raps on it, I simply understand. Now, is it culture vulture? Of course, because
I'm about to say you bet the way you be talking about the coach. I'm about to say you bet not let them off the hook.
Well, I ain't gonna get in between this guy, these folks and their money too, because I understand these days they bringing everything back, and you damn near can't watch a football game or a basketball game or anything. At some point, you see the whole crowd swag surfing. White people know what the swag surf is. Maybe those announcers or whoever that was talking, because I didn't see the video. They probably out the loop. But you go to any high school, damn near any college these days, and I don't care if it's white or black. If that song come on, everybody swag surf. And if Taylor Swift remix that song, do you know how far that song is gonna? It's just gonna completely blow up. You thought they played it out already. It's gonna turn to another level with this white girl on that song.
I just some things I just feel are for black people, right? Now I get it that you do see at white institutions them trying to do the swag surf, and boy, I mean that thing be looking horrific. Okay, just they pretty much just leaning. You know,
so you go that way, I go this way. That's how they be.
Yeah.
You gotta go that way.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Hold on. All right. Yeah. Here we go. You gotta go different ways, man. That's exactly how I be looking.
We too black. We on rhythm too much. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they said. That boy said choir sway. That boy said choir sway. But yeah, so it really bothered me when I saw this. You know, the money, because he said that his streams, they said the streams across all platforms went up 700%, right? So, I mean, like you said, the money is just outrageous. I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, do I think it'll be good? I actually like Taylor Swift. I've listened to her songs. Like, you know, I think she's a great lyricist. You know, I love country music. So she's in that country pop category, and I listen to all that type of stuff. So, it is what it is. I think you have to, and this is my personal opinion, I think how Miley Cyrus' dad got on the Old Town Road, like she got to be on that type of vibe, right? Like, head down like a rock star.
Never get a whole country song one time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I think if she comes in on that type of vibe with the bop, you know what I'm saying? Like Florida Georgia line type stuff, it could work. You know what I'm saying? But I just wish it would just stay black. I hope she doesn't do it. I think just let it be what it is. Now, if she wants to remix Party Like a Rock Star, I have no issue with that. I have no issue with that. I think that is a very, very blended song where it could go black or white. That's just my
give you the same vibe of the swag surf though, when everybody put their hands and go
to
the right and left, and then the beat drop. Yeah, it's
but it's really just the first. It's nobody goes into the whole song. It's literally just, man, I got that swag.
And it starts slow.
I have match in my bag.
Hey.
You know I'm popping tag. Yo, that's like, and man, I got swag when I serve. So watch me swerve. I'm on hypnotic.
Hey.
Whoa, body. Yeah, it's like it says different.
That's when you get them bees from me. I'm like, come here, baby. Hey, get these bees. You can turn me up right quick.
Oh man, so yeah, it is what it is, man.
Man, let the girl remix it. You know, it's a lot of shit out here I can say don't do, let's do. Forget it. If that's gonna help them brothers get their money, hey, at the end of the day, is the money gonna come to the black man? So you're not understanding how this go. The money gonna come to the black man. It's like having a white face. You ever saw ATL when he was like, when you get older and your career ain't the same, you got to get a white avatar.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because who you are, you getting older, you a thing of the past, you can't keep up with this new generation. So you got to get a white avatar and get that white avatar the new music. That way he'll be the face, but you'll get all the money from it. Bring the money. If she want to do it, bring the money. It's bigger than just her having the face. Where the money going? And she gonna have to pay them brothers, and they gonna get plenty of money off there. So if it's money that comes back to the community because of that, then bring it to the community.
Okay, I like how you flipped that at the end.
You know, you like that?
I like how you did that there.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we're hot and viral. Talking a little Dartmouth, little Ivy League, right? If you haven't heard, the Boston Regional Office of National Labor Relations Board, that god dang, that's a long name. I see why they call it the NLRB, issued a massive ruling. The players for the Dartmouth men's basketball team should be considered university employees under U.S. law and thus eligible to hold a union election. Now, let me be very clear. Let me give some background. Dartmouth does not give out athletic scholarships. That's number one. Number two, This is a regional board, okay? So it's not like the National Board of Labor Relations. This has happened before at Northwestern and other places, but that was in 2015. The reason I'm bringing this up now is because of the way the world is going, right? And yes, Dartmouth is appealing the decision. We all know that. The way the world is going with NILs, my question to UP is, do you think college athletics will ever be unionized in any upcoming times?
Not under the provision of scholarships, because NILs don't apply to everybody. If that makes sense. I'm Perry. I can have an NIL with beads. Scotty, you can have an NIL with chairs. You know what I mean? It's two separate. We're not all under the same umbrella. I mean, we all have the same rights to be able to equally go out and acquire however we're going to acquire it. But at the end of the day, we're not all under the same entity that's paying us. I think when you start to look at maybe like a Texas or Texas A&M, you know, because the fine line is they don't offer scholarships.
Yeah.
You know, the other part is the vast majority of the other schools offer scholarship, and the NIL is the frosting on the cake, right? The scholarship is the cake. Then the frosting is whatever you want it to look like. It can be a white frosting with sprinkles. It can be a brown. It can be whatever color frosting you want. But that's just the on top. Everybody don't get the NIL, so some people would just have the cake. You know, so if it's just scholarship based, I think not. NIL as a whole, when you talk about unionizing, and I don't want to speak too deep and not truly understand it, but I just think if I'm getting money from one place and you getting money from another place, how can we unionize? Because my bottom line would be a difference from your bottom line.
That is true. My question to this is if I was an athlete, is this truly what I'm looking to do? Right? Because if we unionize and then you have the requirements of a job where time, pay, W-2, taxes, and most of that stuff comes with NIL deals now anyway. My thing is, how different is it between the NCAA rules and the labor laws, right? So now you're getting where's that differentiating? Because the NCAA, I would believe, it won't govern you. So now you're getting governed by labor laws. And now if you're an athlete, what does that look like? You know, are you on call? Are you, it's just certain, just certain things like your hours of work. Is it 40 hours? Is it 80, 60 hours? Is it 70? Because I'm paying you.
I mean, take the NFL, for example, the Players Association, that union within itself.
Yeah.
You look at the NBA, they have an association who actually just voted about saying, if you're going to be up for any awards, you have to play at least 65 games. They came together, and whether some agree to disagree, they came together and was able to put that in place. But when you look at the organization as the NFL, the NBA, you have these side organizations as the entities themselves that ultimately fall in line, and then the employees as the players. I don't know if that falls in the same category as a student athlete if I'm offering you a scholarship, because the school's not paying you the $13 million or the $5 million or the $500,000 to come there. The school is going to give you the base of your scholarship, and then they're going to reach out to the booster or the outside entity, like at LSU, Tiger Athletic Foundation. But that entity then steps in and then take care of that. And that's the same way with coaches as well, because coaches don't get paid the millions of dollars from the institution itself. That's outside money, as we just saw even with FAMU having to deal with that, going to try to get outside money to cover costs when you're looking for a coach. So what the school has to offer, I don't think falls into the category of the union of what guys are trying to get outside of the school, and they're signing deals with companies and whoever else that'll pay them outside of the school.
No, I think the basis of unionizing is with the institution. I think NIL deals are always going to be an aspect of, but just it as a player, right? Would you rather have an athletic scholarship or would you rather be paid? Now, because to me, an athletic scholarship is you being paid, just in a different format of you not having to pay for school. right? So it's like we're paying you to pay us back. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have school, instead of it saying, hey, we'll just pay you directly and then you have to pay us back. You know what I'm saying? Like legit.
No, I think the issue then too is there's not an equal playing field when you're talking about players getting scholarships. Everybody don't get a full ride. You know, on top of then you start if you're talking about a specific sport, this is going to trickle down to everything else. What about a gymnastics student athlete? What about a softball, a baseball?
Those are non-revenue sports though.
But still, you get a scholarship.
But they're non. I'm just like, the reason that college football players are having the gripes and concerns that they do, and previous players, is that you're making billions of dollars off of me, and you're not giving me anything of my value or worth. NIL deal is what kind of is balancing the scale, but nowhere near. Like, it was some coach that said something like, oh, like I don't know if it was Nick Saban or somebody said, talking about, oh, these kids shouldn't be able to leave and do this and do that. I'm like, coaches do it all the time. Coaches are able to get up and leave in the middle of a contract all the time.
The thing I would say, because you say they non-revenue sports, they may be non-revenue at once. Like, let's just take gymnastics. LSU can put 12,000 people in the Pete Maravich Center for a gymnastic meet, right, against Florida.
Okay.
Every school can't do that. It becomes a source of revenue for them.
Mm-hmm. But
another school may not have that same source of revenue when it comes to gymnastics.
I agree. It's like Vanderbilt in baseball. It's like UNC with baseball. It's like Texas with, like, certain sports work for certain institutions. I agree with you. And I think you should meet a certain threshold to have to pay those players. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, that might be revenue for them, but it's a non-revenue sport for us. So there might be some parameters and you good for one. It might be some.
It wasn't me. That was you.
It wasn't me.
That did it on both our sides.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was like, you know, it's a certain threshold you meet, and it's like a parameter or whatever. But to me, at the end of the day, I think figuring, I don't know about union. Maybe.
Okay. Let me ask you this.
I do think they deserve health insurance and all that type of stuff. But go ahead.
What does that do for HBCUs then when you're talking about?
That's where you get real tricky with it.
And that's what I'm saying, because if it's an NCAA thing, this gonna trickle down to everybody. Everybody falls under the guidelines of the NCAA when you're talking about collegiate sports.
But I think you're kind of sliding. I think you're sliding right into my next question about the SEC and the Big Ten and their advisory committee and what's next for the NCAA. Because I'm going to keep saying, and I'm gonna yell it from the rooftop. I believe that HBCU football should be independent from NCAA. Like, I think the football aspect, I feel like your program should be independent, because this is what you're saying to the world. Our product, self-contained, we're going to have people who watch, we're going to have people who support, show up. We lead in attendance, we do this, we do that. So we don't need the NCAA to govern us in that aspect, because we can govern ourselves. But I think for every other sport, basketball, baseball, I think you stay a part of the NCAA. But I wouldn't be mad at every HBCU institution breaking away from NCAA sanctions and regulations, especially for APR.
Well,
especially for APR, but go ahead.
I think this is where it gets tricky, because at the same time, you've heard the SEC and many others have this conversation before. I won't necessarily say from their head office, but you have heard the conversation. Would it be more beneficial for them to break away and do their own thing when it comes to college football and the amount of money that's out there in basketball as well? I think the issue for if HBCUs were to do it, because what worked for you may not work for me. At that point, if we break away and I want to go play one of those money games, those big time schools not going to play me, because it's not going to count, because I'm not an NCAA member. Yeah. So then you take yourself out of the opportunities of those non-conference basketball games that HBCUs travel around on the road in non-conference and go play those schools and get money. The same way some HBCUs decide to jump up and go play a Group of 5 or Power 5 to come home for a check. Those schools will not pay you. So if you want to go independent, it's going to be a hard knock world out there by yourself, because can you survive on your own when you're looking to go get a $500,000 check right quick because you want to go play Georgia, or a $750,000 check right quick because you want to go play LSU, or even in the basketball or the baseball rank where you can go get a a quick 6-figure or $75,000-$80,000 check, then you can bring it back home. They're not going to play you at all if you decide to be independent and step away, because then the stats will not count towards them, and so there's no reason to play that game. That's where the slippery slope comes in of saying, let's step away from the NCAA and go independent. You're going to then take yourself away. And I know people going to say, well, it's the white people money. Hey, the white people money is what's happening.
Let me tell you what I think is going to happen. This is my personal opinion. I think if the SEC and Big Ten break away from the NCAA and they do their own thing, I think the NCAA is going to put an asterisk. It's going to make a rule that says your stuff still counts to us, but we don't govern you. Because they're too big. They're too big of a brand to let them walk out the front door. Right?
They can do it because they can legit survive on their own.
And that's what I'm saying. That's why the NCAA is going to make a waiver or something to where they say, hey, we're still going to, all the stuff is going to count. We'll give you all this and you'll be able, because listen, it's no different than if you're trying to keep a marriage together when you know it's not working. You're like, okay. I won't go to the club no more. All the things that they've been asking for the last 10 or 20 years. And you didn't have to concede. Now that they're big enough to say, listen, we're getting billion-dollar contracts on our own. We don't need you, right? The NCAA is going to make an exception and say, hey, we'll still allow you to do this. We'll still allow you to do this. And you can keep your independence. We just ask that you give us this or be able to do this for us. So I do believe, and you can call me crazy, but I do believe that there will be a statute put into the NCAA that where you're allowed to be independent to a certain degree and still be a part of the NCAA. I do believe you cannot tell me, because I'm telling you, if these entities get too big, you don't want to miss out. The NCAA is going to either crumble and go to kaput, or they're going to say, you know what, we'll just focus on the FCS and we'll let the Power Fives do as they might. And
NCAA, you still got FCS, you got Division II, you got Division III. There's still a list of schools that go down. And I don't think you can have your cake and eat it too. It's either going to work two ways. It's either going to work with you, or the whole entire thing is going to crumble. I don't see the powers that be, allowing the entire thing to crumble. I think at some point, all sides are going to sit down and come together and have a resolution of what they can do to move forward. But I think when you look at the whole overall hierarchy, I just don't think they're going to allow the NCAA to crumble out of all of this and then move forward. And that's the thing. That's the scary part of where college sports is going, because you have these big conferences like the SEC and the Big Ten who have now monopolized on the television markets, monopolizing on the talent, and they're able to now sit at the table and say, you know, I kick my feet up, now I have a seat at the table. The NCAA will respect them sitting at the table, but I think at the same time, the NCAA will say, look, how can we work for you? Because what worked for you don't work for everyone. Because what worked for the SEC and the Big Ten not going to work for the Sun Belt. We're not even talking to FCS.
Yeah.
It's not even going to work for
five. Just group of five. Yeah.
Yeah. The Conference USA. So, you know, and then
MAC. The MAC. I was just saying the MAC. Yeah.
Yeah. Just, you know, many of those conferences. And then, you know, at the same time, the money is there while you see these FCS programs now seem like more than ever making that jump to the group of five. And everybody like, well, it's not like you ever going to get an opportunity to play for the national championship, but the money is there when you move up coming out of the FCS to be able to get into that group of five. And I just think right now, the way that it's governed, I know they would rather pull out and do it themselves, but I think there's still the guideline of the NCAA, whether we agree or not, is still the glue that holds it together. Is the NCAA getting over? Of course they are. They're like the middleman. The middleman always going to get his cut off the top. No doubt about it. But if I just don't see, like I say, I think it'll work one or two ways. Either they just going to completely deal with it and work with it, or it's just going to completely crumble, because there's more layers when you peel it back to say Division I, FBS, FCS, and that's just football. Then we start to talk about Division II and Division III. I just think it's too deep of a matter. And man, you're talking about so many laws. I don't even know what that legal process would even look like. And that would probably take 30, 40 years to sort through that legal matter before you can even remotely come to a conclusion of what that looks like.
Yeah, and the thing about it, I still think that if you allow the powers that be, the power two, the power four, whatever is going to fall down into be power four, power three, whatever, if you allow them to move out of that, then what does that leave? The bowl games and now they own the college football playoff, or do they have that, or do they make their own thing? And then do you put all your resources back into the FCS? Like, there's so many different facets to this. It's just amazing to me to see. But I think I'm gonna stand on the fact that I do think HBCUs should find a way to go independent. Now, I think that process should be led by somebody who, listen, neither one of these commissioners should lead that. Listen, if you hear commissioner lead a charge for anything, jump off that bandwagon.
I think even before it gets to the commissioner, everything starts, what they say, it starts at home first before you take it to school, right? The behavior that you exhibit at school obviously comes from somewhere, because at home, somebody allowing you to do whatever you do. At home has to start with the leadership at the HBCUs. HBCU leadership at this point, and people can agree to disagree, I don't care, but we do not have the knowledge base that is in position of power currently, whether it's your president or whether it's your AD, to be able to make sound decisions with a 15, 20, 25-year plan, in my opinion, currently, to be able to sustain being independent. The independent sounds good because, there's a collective group of HBCUs and you feel, well, there's enough of us to play each other. But in terms of because think about it right now, look at all the issues right now that you have with the SWAC, and that's supposed to be an entity that governs the entire 12 team, 12 institution body of the SWAC.
And I have that issue with all of them because I feel like they're all governed incorrectly. CIAA, I do like how they do their stuff, but the SIAC, the MEAC, the SWAC, they all govern incorrectly, in my personal opinion.
Because at that point, if that's what you want to do you know the type of investment that HBCUs will have to put themselves into to make sure they can afford the right leadership to be able to put them in a position? Because that's like if you want to start a business, right?
Yeah.
In order to start your business, you'll probably start out as a mom and pop store before you grow into a chain of restaurants where people can then buy in. But before people buy in, you got to show that you can first run your mom and pop shop and maybe grow from one location to 5 locations. And those locations have to generate revenue. Those locations have to be able to market themselves. Those locations have to be able to provide great customer service. There's a lot that goes into it. So when we start to peel the layers back, HBCUs are nowhere near in position as an institution or as a conference to be able to move independently, because we just don't have the infrastructure or the people that's in position in those powerful spots to be able to do it. We have hard enough times hiring a damn head coach with an AD. We have hard enough times picking up television contracts as a conference right now and have infighting and back and forth. Then you're talking about independent. At that point, everybody's going to try to do what they want to do.
Yeah, and do their own thing. That's a good point. You probably
that's kind of what's happening with the whole SWAC and the Grambling and the FAMU thing too.
Yeah, you will have to have a new governance for this new independent HBCU, and then at the end of the day, you like who leads that, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I get what you say. It's a whole new thing to get.
And I'm not saying black folks can't do it. We just don't have the infrastructure nor the value and money. And I know people say, well, we can survive on our own. No, we cannot. That's why you don't have your own independent system as a school, and why you probably under some white people's school system, because you can't survive on your own even as an institution.
That's fair. I love it. Great conversation. I still feel like something needs to happen because it can't continue to go like this. All right, let's talk a little SWAC basketball. And a little NCAA basketball, P. Break it down for us, men's standings.
All right, let's talk about the SWAC men's standing. And, I'm going to talk about the top teams that's right there. Let's start with Grambling. Grambling leading the way right now. Grambling men basketball are playing some good basketball right now. Over the weekend, they took on Jackson State and Alcorn. Grambling getting the victory against Jackson State, 70-62 in that ball game. Grambling shot 24 of 52 for 46%. 6 of 13 Scotty from the three-point line and 16 of 20 from the free throw line. That game was played in Newark, New Jersey, the Legacy Classic, which was shown on national television on TNT in Jackson State. On the losing side, shooting 23 of 65 for 35%, 7 of 29 from the three-point line, and 9 of 13 from the free throw line. On the other side, they came back Monday and took on Alcorn State. Grambling gets the victory, and that was 78-67. Grambling shoots 28 of 55 for 50% in that ball game, 9 of 16 from the three-point line, and 13 of 16 from the free throw line. Alcorn in this one, 24 of 49, shooting 49%. 3 of 13 from the three-point line and 16 of 19 from the free throw line. Right there behind Grambling, of course, the two Louisiana schools. Let's talk about Southern University. Southern getting a 1-point victory Saturday against Alcorn on the road, winning 71-70. In this ball game, they shot 21 of 48 for 45%, 12 of 23 for the three-point line, and 15 of 25 from the free throw line. On the other side for Grambling, 18 of 50 for 35% in this ball game, 9 of 20 from the three-point line, and 25 of 31 from the free throw line. Derek Tisano hit 2 free throws clutch in the last 4 seconds of this game to give Southern that 1-point edge. Southern gets out of there with a 1-point victory. Then last night on ESPN2 for a national audience to watch Jackson State back-to-back national television games, TNT as well as ESPN2. But Southern comes out the victory in this one, 72-63. Southern shoots 26 of 54 for 48%, 6 of 16 in this ball game from the three-point line, and 14 of 19 from the free throw line. Jackson State, 19 of 52 for 36%, 4 of 21 from the three-point line, and 21 of 28 from the free throw line. Southern gets the victory. Grambling and Southern both in that 2 spot. Then Bama State right there behind them. Alabama State gets the victory, 79-68. Alabama State takes the L, 79-68. Bethune-Cookman pulls it out, shooting 23 of 53, shooting 43% in that ball game, 10 of 25 from the three-point line, and 23 of 26 from the free throw line. Bama State on the losing end in this ball game, shooting 21 of 66, 31%, 6 of 29 from the three-point line, and 20 of 32 from the free throw line. On the other side, Bama State gets back on track against Florida A&M, 62-53 in that ball game. Bama State, the Hornets shoot 22 of 70 for 31%, 4 of 20 from the three-point line, and 14 of 18 from the free throw line. The Rattlers of FAMU, tough day, 19 of 46 for 41%, 5 of 15 from the three-point line, and 10 of 21 from the free throw line. And the last team right there that I want to talk about is Texas Southern. They had a big victory over their rival Prairie View on Saturday. Texas Southern gets a victory in this ballgame. They shoot 29 of 58 for 50%, 5 of 19 from the three-point line, and 7 of 23 from the free throw line. And Prairie View shoots 21 of 49 for 42%, 5 of 16 from the three-point line, and 22 of 31. And that's where you have your teams right there: Grambling, Southern, Texas Southern, and Bama State.
Now, Perry, if my glasses deceive me, I don't see Jackson State on there. What happened?
You gotta ask the chat. Somebody, I know Southern got the victory last night.
Where Ohio State at? I don't see. It was all good just a week ago. I mean, I'm confused. Oh, Ohio State. My boy Herb, HBCU Hoops. Said JSU is slumping at the wrong time. Squad is too talented to be looking like they have the last month or so. Oh my gosh. 4-game losers. Oh, goddamn. Hey, that's part of the game, my boy. That's part of the game. I don't want to hear no injury. That's part of the game. Every sport got injuries. Come on now. Maybe y'all need some better athletic trainers over there. Maybe that's it. Now, Pete, you know, March Madness is around the corner. The tournament's around the corner. Here are the top 10 teams that one of these SWAC schools could possibly face. You have at the top, I'll start at the top, UConn, Purdue, UNC, Kansas, Houston, Tennessee, Marquette, Arizona, Duke, and Illinois. Where do you see, who do you feel that some of these teams, who do you feel like one of these teams will match up well against?
I'm not sure. That's why it's time to get familiar with this top team, because it jumbles up. It changes every week. And you look at this top 10 right now, it could be either one of these teams that maybe a 16 seed SWAC champion has to go into the NCAA. And if they can bypass that first 4 in, maybe get one of these teams, or if they have that first 4 in, they'll most likely get one of these teams who can end up at number 1. Let's start with Illinois. They're the number 10 team in the nation. They beat Nebraska on Sunday, 87-84 in overtime. You look at Duke right there, who's playing some good basketball, but they just lost the game Saturday to number 3 North Carolina, 93-84. Arizona, who Southern played early this year, showed that they was really good. Arizona beat Stanford Sunday, 82-71. You talk about Marquette, who beat Georgetown, 91-57 Saturday soundly. Tennessee is one of those teams that could possibly get one of those number 1 seeds. They beat number 17 Kentucky, 103-92 Saturday. Houston is another club, but they lost Saturday to number 4 Kansas, 78-65. Then you talk about Kansas. Kansas lost last night to Kansas State, 75-70 in overtime. Then you look at North Carolina, as I said, they just beat Duke 93-84. Purdue is another one of those teams that definitely has number 1 seed written all over them. Beat number 11 Wisconsin 75-69 on Sunday. And then UConn, right now, number 1, beat St. John on Saturday 77-64. Any one of these teams can end up with a number 1 seed when the NCAA comes up. So it's time for people to get familiar with these teams, because one of these could be one of the teams that your school could be facing as March Madness start.
I'm not even gonna lie to you. When you sent me this, I called Mr. Campbell. I said, UConn's number 1. I said, where have I been? And where have I been? I feel like I've been living under a rock, because I don't really watch men's basketball like that. It's not interesting to me. All I know from these 10 teams, I ain't gonna lie to none of y'all. The only thing I know is Purdue got a center that looked like that Bama came straight from Russia. Okay, I mean, that Bama is huge. Pause. All right. And I don't know nothing about UConn. I don't know nothing about the rest of these teams. I don't know nothing about nothing. I ain't gonna even know.
UConn in a game earlier, non-conference, they played North Carolina in Madison Square Garden. That's when UConn showed me that they was legit, man. UConn can hoop, Scotty. Pay attention to them.
Yeah, so I'm like, what is going on here? All right, let's get dog. All I'm gonna say is this. All Jackson State does is just listen. All Tamika do is just win. I know her record in the SWAC got to be something outrageous. I mean, like legit outrageous. That girl different. That girl different. I'm sorry. Okay, go ahead.
You look at the top of the list on the SWAC women's side, and of course it's JSU. Then it's everybody else. Jackson State took on Grambling and Southern over the weekend, and they got their first one against Grambling, 71-63. And at that point, I said, you know what? Finally, somebody was within close range to at least touch them. And Jackson State got the victory, 71-63 in that ball game. Jackson State women's basketball shoots 24-54 for 44%, 8 of 20 from the three-point line, and 15 of 20 from the free throw line. Grambling in that one shot 23 of 63 for 36%, 5 of 14, Scotty, from the three-point line, and 12 of 15 from the free throw line. And then last night's game, I thought that if there was a team to have gotten as close as anybody could have gotten, Southern had Jackson State on the ropes.
The ropes. That down by 20.
Had them on the ropes. Jackson State ultimately finds a way to win this game late in the fourth, 63-58. And a tough night of shooting for both teams. Jackson State shoots 14 of 45 for 31%, 4 of 19 from the three-point line, and 31 of 40. Those clutch free throws down the line in that one from the free throw line for Southern. On the other side, 16 of 50 for 32%, shooting around the field, 3 of 10 from the three-point line, and 23 of 32. Scotty, in this one, Jackson State outscored Southern in the fourth quarter, 29-8 in the fourth quarter. And that's how Jackson State battled back to get this victory and remain unbeaten. But if there was a team that pushed them close this year, that was probably the closest that they gotten all year in conference play. We'll continue to see what Jackson goes from there. Then you look at the team right there behind them, UAPB. Coach Don Thornton has her team in position right now, and they are rolling. They went on the road. They took on Mississippi Valley State, won 76-60. UAPB women's basketball shot 26 of 66 for 39%. 5 of 22 from the three-point line and 19 of 31 from the free throw line. Valley in this one shot 20 of 64 for 31%, 4 of 21 from the three-point line, and 16 of 29 from the free throw line. Then UAPB went Monday and made up a game against Prairie View, in which was postponed due to inclement winter weather a couple weeks ago. And UAPB walks out of there with a big victory over Sandy Pugh and Prairie View, 77-48. UAPB shoots 25 of 47 for 53%, 2 of 9 from the three-point line, and 25 of 38 from the free throw line. Sandy Pugh's Prairie View women's basketball team, 12 of 55 shooting this game for 21%, Scotty, from the field, and 1 of 11 from the three-point line, 23 of 35 from the free throw line. How about this stat? UAPB scored 48 points in the paint to Prairie View's 18 points.
Jesus.
And then you talk about Grambling, still right there. They had a game against Alcorn. Grambling won that game 72-55. Grambling in that one shot 23 of 58 for 39%, 5 of 15 from the three-point line, 21 of 27 from the free throw line. And on the other side, for Alcorn State women's basketball, they shot 21 of 54 for 38%, 5 of 15 from the three-point line, and 8 of 13 from the free throw line. So right now, I think when you look at it, Jackson State and UAPB, of course, lead the way.
Of course.
Yep. And Grambling and Southern and everybody else is right there just playing catch-up.
My thing is this with UAPB and Jackson. I think they played this Monday. Somebody said in the chat they played Monday, and I was definitely trying to get down to that game. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. But the thing for me is this. And I talked to Mr. Campbell. I called him. I said, the problem that I'm having watching these two teams, I think the only thing that I would give a slight edge to UAPB in that matchup coming up is because they have a little bit better shooting. Jackson State, and I'm going to keep saying it, it works in the SWAC tournament, right? You got the big girls, you're doing the big things. But when you get into the NCAA, because you have to build your team for the NCAA tournament if you're deciding to win, right? Because if you win your tournament, you have to have shooting. If you do not have shooting, you're going to get mollywopped. And the reason you're going to get mollywopped is because those girls on the Power 5 level is just as big as you, right? And I'm going to keep saying it. The Jackson State and LSU year, that 1 year that they met up, was the perfect storm for Jackson State. Why? It's because LSU didn't have no shooting and Jackson State didn't have no shooting. And it was like, hey, who's better in the paint? And Jackson State was better in the paint. It just didn't surmise to them getting the victory. And I think with Jackson State's teams, they're really great in the paint. They're really good defensively. But when you get into this Power 5 level and you step up to that next level, if your girls can't shoot, it's a tough day. It's going to be a tough day for you. So to me, that's why you see teams like Southern and those little feisty teams, they work because shooting, being able to shoot evens the playing field. Because I don't have to go in the paint with you. You know what I'm saying? I don't got to battle with you. I stay out here and just you get a 2, I get a 3. You get a 2, I get a 3. So it's one of those things. I got to.
And that's the issue, I think, when you start to look at the Southern, smaller guard play around the court. But when you look at UAPB and you look at Jackson State, they have the bigs. And they can play lockdown deep. I was impressed when I saw UAPB women's basketball team a week or two back when they came to Baton Rouge. Man, you're talking about forcing Southern's women's team into tough shots. And then when you look at Jackson State, they're just big down low. What they'll kill you at is being able to get those second chance shots because of rebounds.
Listen.
UAPB does the same thing. And so when you have teams that can get those second chance shots for the rebounds, see the smaller teams like the Southern women's basketball, when they shoot, they automatically running back down the court because the ball is being pushed. You're getting pushed back down the court. You're not getting that second look at the goal to be able to shoot again and kick the ball back out and be able to reset the clock and get your opportunity to get back in sync. You're running up and down the court because you got the smaller guard play. But the way that Jackson State and UAPB are built, they can beat you in the rebound game and give themselves multiple opportunities to get a look at the basket, which ultimately those shots begin to fall or if they put them back off the rebound.
Yeah. For me, and I see what Coach Green says. He said, if you can't shoot and point guard play will hurt them versus UAPB. Listen, the UAPB is they have a big front court. My thing is, I like Maya Pete. I don't think Maya Pete gets enough credit for what she does for that team. Like,
and she's solid. She's a solid.
Listen, I know they got another girl. I don't know her name. She was like a 5-star, whatever. She's okay.
Zay Green?
No. Zay Green, that's the guard. That's the guard. I'm talking about the center. The center play, right?
I think her name is Campbell. Her last name is Campbell.
Something, I don't know. I don't know, but she's not that good to me. The 5-star, she's like, it's like an M name or whatever. I don't care. It begins and starts with Zay, and the next person is Maya. Like them two girls, they are legit. And then they got another girl that came over. I don't know if it's from Georgia State or something like that. She's another good scorer. And they got
a chick that's locked down number 5 last name
Beck.
Reese.
I think it's Beck. Yeah, her name Beck.
Beck is good. Reese. And then what I like about UAPB, they will D you up. That's one thing about them. They play great team basketball, and they force teams to have to take hard, tough shots. You'll run you through your whole shot clock dealing with UAPB's defense because they would never give you an opportunity to get a good look at the basket.
Yeah, and I think you see that with UAPB and Jackson. They're built kind of similar, and their coaches remind you of that ferocity of defense first, you know what I'm saying, getting after it, attacking the boards, holding it down, because in the women's game, it's that old school 90s basketball where the centers dominate and the guards are complementary, right? That's where most of women's basketball is going to, where you got to have that focal point, right? You got Cordoza at South Carolina State. You have Angel Reese at LSU. You have these big Juju, you know, even though she's like a small forward, but, you know, big guards. So to me, I love Maya Pete, like the girl from Bethune-Cookman, Michaela Clark, I believe her name is. She's a monster on the boards. Like those girls are what makes this thing go, but you have to have the shooting around. And I think that's where the SWAC is limiting themselves by not finding the right shooter. Now, a matchup I would love to see, Jackson State versus Norfolk State. Women's, oh my God, I would pay good money, very good money to see that matchup. And I'm talking about neutral site, home and home. It don't matter. I would love to be in attendance for that game. And make sure you guys are able to get to UAPB. I know Perry, he don't like to go back to Pine Bluff. But make sure y'all go down there. I think it's next Monday, Jackson State, UAPB. Matchup of the century. Well, it should be a doozy.
Of the century.
It is. It's the matchup of the century. It should be a doozy. All right, here's the top 10. Here is the top 10 of women's. Listen, you already know that bad woman up front, Don Staley, still doing what Don Staley does. I'm gonna let you go through your thing, P, and I'm gonna ask you a question after. Go ahead.
Well, you know, you look at women's basketball, so the same as men, get familiar with some of these teams because who we just talked about, the UAPB, the Jacksons, the Grambling, the Southerns, whoever comes out of the SWAC tournament as the champion, if they don't have that first 4 game in, and if they do, they win it, regardless of the fact a 16 seed is going to have to see one of these teams who could potentially be a number 1 seed. You look at USC right there in that 10th spot, Southern Cal, got 2 good victories over the weekend. They beat number 6 Stanford 67-58 Friday, then beat Cal 79-64 on Sunday. Number 9 UCLA, and the Pac-12 is loaded if you look at this in women's basketball. Number 9 UCLA beat Cal 78-58. Like I said, lost to Stanford 80-60 on Sunday. Number 8 Kansas State lost to Texas 61-54. Texas beat both Baylor and Kansas over the weekend, getting a 67-55 victory on Thursday against Baylor and a 61-54 victory against Texas Southern. Then you look at Stanford. Stanford lost to USC, as I said, on Friday, but they beat UCLA, number 9 UCLA, 80-60 on Sunday. Ohio State is another one at the number 5 spot, getting a victory over number 14 Indiana, 74-69. You look at Colorado. How about Colorado's women's basketball? Beating Washington 80-57 on Sunday, and then number 3 North Carolina State, which I watched them last night. They got 2 victories over the weekend. Last Thursday, they beat number 24 North Carolina 63-59, and then last night they beat number 15 Louisville 77-67, which I thought was a really good game. And then you look at number 2 Iowa. Of course, everybody's been watching Iowa. They beat Maryland 93-85 Saturday, and then the number 1 team in the nation, South Carolina. Women's basketball beat Auburn 76-54 Thursday, and then on Sunday got a big victory, a huge victory over Ole Miss 85-56. That's where you're looking at these teams right now. South Carolina's the team to beat. I think Iowa is right there. You've seen LSU drop out of this top 10. But nonetheless, all of these teams, any one of these teams can be a potential team that your HBCU or SWAC or MEAC champion will have to face on the women's side.
Yeah, absolutely. My question, and AJ brought it up to me. What What has happened to UConn? I mean, like, does Gino, has he lost that sauce? Has he lost that flavor? Because I remember, man, growing up, it was UConn and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like everybody was a UConn fan or everybody knew about UConn. UConn to me just hasn't had that name recognition, that branding like it used to. And it doesn't, to me, honestly, UConn's name doesn't mean as much as it has in the previous years, especially after Don has gone on a home run. You know what I'm saying? You had Notre Dame on its run for a while, Baylor on this run for a while. You just haven't seen UConn be that team.
I just think Gino can't stockpile the talent like he used to. And he's spoken out about it. I think he feels the same way when you look at what Nick Saban said college football has turned into. You know, Nick Saban can walk in there with those rings and stockpile the talent and keep all of that talent. But you see the playing field now in college football and how it's changed. And it's not all Nick Saban because of the championship rings anymore. I think the same thing with Gino and UConn. It's not all Huskies anymore because you can just walk in and say rings. The playing field and teams are out there and they bring them in. And I think when you look at Dunn over at South Carolina, I mean, you take Kim Mulkey at LSU, you just look around everywhere. Now, you know, the playing field is different. It's just not this stockpile of talent anymore that you used to see at Tennessee and that you would see at UConn. It's kind of evened out because look at Iowa. Who would thought Iowa will be right here banging the way that they've been doing for the past couple of years?
Hey, listen, that white girl, Caitlin Clark, is a sniper, okay? That girl, she be doing some flopping, but she is a sniper. And I think Coach Green is making my point. UConn is 9-0 in conference play, but they do not get talked about. That's the thing when I'm talking. See, Coach Green is looking at it as strictly as a basketball thing. I'm talking about the branding and the recognition of UConn is not the same. UConn and women's basketball used to be synonymous. It's not that anymore. It's the Don Staley's, it's the Angel Reese's, it's the Kim Mulkeys, it's the black coach at, I believe, Mississippi State or something like that. It's Texas. You know, it's Juju. It's becoming more about the players and less about the coaches. I think Mulkey and Dawn have their brands because Dawn she's so unapologetically black. It's just like you rock with it. And she's just had so many great dominating teams. And I think Kim Mulkey is such a character, right? Like the outfits and the antics. That's just who she is. Dawn Staley don't have to do none of that. She just sit like, that's why I picked this pose, because this is how Dawn Staley is 90% of the game. She's literally like this with a rolled up piece of paper, and she's like the Phil Jackson of women's basketball. You don't see her yelling and screaming. She just chilling. You get what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
And I mean, and Kim had it on lock when she was at Baylor. So, you know, before she came over to LSU. So the playing field is just different. UConn women's basketball is not like they're in the dumpster, but when you look at the landscape, it's just different. And, you know, how about LSU and South Carolina just a week or two ago, Scott?
Yeah. Hey, you were there. You was at the game. Tell us about it.
And listen, you're talking about that had to be the best women's basketball game atmosphere I've ever seen. And I know I've watched some women's, and I won't lie, I'm not the biggest watcher of women's basketball, but something about that game, it just felt like national championship, everything about it. And then to see how hostile it was for South Carolina on the road and show resilience against a team who is the defending national champions, right in your same conference, and go on the road and find a way to get it done. I got a couple stats from that game in which South Carolina won 76-70 over LSU. South Carolina shot 31 of 65 in that game for 47% and 7 of 20 from the three-point line. They struggled early in that game from the three-point line, but they were 7 of 13 from the free throw line. LSU on the other side, who led pretty much the majority of that game, shot 30 of 67 for 44%, 6 of 18 from the three-point line, and 4 of 9 from the free throw line. Bree Hall in that ball game missed her first 6 shots coming into the fourth quarter, but knocked down her last 4 shots all in the final 6 minutes. And one of those 4 shots she knocked down was the go-ahead 3 as South Carolina rallied back against LSU with 1:14 left on the clock in that ball game. And South Carolina rallied back from an 11-point deficit to win that game in a hostile environment at LSU in the Pete Maravich Center, man. It was electric. I thought it was everything you wanted, and I think more people than you realize watched that game. It was so many people on my timeline that typically may not look at women's basketball, but they all were talking about how great that game was and the fact that it came down to the end the way that it did.
Man, man, that game was everything. Do you hear me? I got it recorded on my my YouTube TV. It was so daggone good. But
I recorded the big shot that Bree Hall hit.
In the it was a corner three. Was it a corner three?
It was a corner three when they went up with that 114. I recorded that and put that on my On the Yard Sports. I didn't know it was gonna go the way it did. This thing has over 75,000 views. And then every day I look on there, people still come in. That just lets you know how big that game was. But then it just showed me these people support their sports because I'm constantly getting comments and shares and likes. That game still resonates with people here even a week later with South Carolina and LSU. And let me tell you, LSU was ready to storm that court. Oh, they were ready to storm the court, and they brought out all the blue shirt security, had everybody around. But guess what? Spoiled their day, and Coach Dunn and South Carolina walked out of there with a W.
Yeah, I think the thing for me was what I see from LSU is their offense just lacks motion. It lacks creativity. It's simply it's like Herb said earlier in the show in the chat. He said it's an in and out game, and LSU is the epitome of that. It is literally inside out. And I think having Haley Van Leith, however you pronounce it, HVL, as a point guard is the hindrance to that team. I believe she needs to be used like Rip Hamilton. Just run her around screens. Just keep it motion, movement, and everything like that. And then kind of work a 2-guard system to where all the ball handling does not fall on her, right? So do I think LSU is a little too hyped? I do, because of the characters. They got some players. No, they got some players. But I don't think Kim Mulkey she's not showing the creativity of a coach to kind of get the best out of her team. I think she's trying to make she's trying to put a square in a round hole, and it's not working with Haley as a point guard. That's just my personal opinion. So it was a good game though, but LSU is like, they're like kind of like the Colorado of football. You know what I'm saying? It's like whoever they play is a big game. And I watched I don't know if it was Mississippi State. They played against Mississippi State and they lost that game. That was a good game. You know what I'm saying? So
Mississippi State was on top of the women's basketball world just a few years back. They were balling, but kind of fell to the wayside. But let me tell you, them LSU fans, you ever kicked the ant pile over before and see all the ants run? That's how they was coming out of that Pete Maravich Center after that loss, man. They were flooding out that thing, bro. They were hot.
Yeah,
believe that a black woman came down there and beat them.
With them black girls, Oh man. All right, let's get into this. Hey, make sure you answer the trivia question today, posed by your favorite hoster with the most, is my boy Perry. And it says, which SWAC football player, both QB/wide receiver, and won back-to-back SWAC championships? Is it A, TC Taylor? Is it B, Tavares Jackson? Is it C, Randy Himes? Or is it the last one, Thomas Ricks of Southern University? Make sure you get your answers in. We'll be answering that question at the end of the segment, at the end of the show, and breaking that down. All right, let's get into it. Super Bowl Sunday! That does not have the Dallas Cowboys. Boo. All right, listen.
When last time you saw the Dallas Cowboys?
Why are we going down?
Super Bowl?
All I said, listen, let's just, like I said, I just wanted to, I'm upset that my team's not in there.
You and your feelings.
I'm just upset. I'm just upset that my team's not in there. That's all I'm saying.
In your feelings today.
I'm just upset.
Every year you got to be upset when you look at the damn Super Bowl and it ain't your year.
I'm just upset, man. It was a good. We had a great run and we're not there. I'm very upset. That's all it is. I'm just very upset. Okay.
All right.
And then we hired Joe Witt Jr. for DC. Who the hell is that? Who the hell is Joe Witt Jr.?
Well, you better get real accustomed to him because he's in your house now. He's in your house. in the house that
man.
Jerry built now.
I don't know what we're doing this for. Anyway, let's talk about the Super Bowl. All right, rematch of 2 years ago, I believe. Was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago? Where San Francisco and Kansas City played each other when they had Jimmy G.
Don't put me on the spot.
Oh, come on, co-host. I think it was about 2.
How you gonna ask the question?
Because you're my co-host. You're supposed to back me up.
Oh, I got you. Hey, put it in the chat. What year was it, chat? What year was it, chat? That's what you do. Now we get them reasons to get involved. What year was that, chat?
Yes, 3 years ago. Somebody said 2019, 2020, 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. All right, 4 years. Thank you, Mr. Damon. Thomas with the 4, 2020, 2020. All right, thank you all. I like how you did that, Pete.
Yeah, that's
You got
chat.
all right. You got Kansas City Chiefs. You got that bad man Patrick Mahomes, and then you got the 49ers led by CMC and Brock Purdy. Perry, what's your analysis and who you got?
Let's talk about how we got here from last week with the AFC Championship of Kansas City versus Baltimore. Kansas City finding a way to stifle that Baltimore offense 17-10 in that ball game. Kansas City was 8 of 18 on third downs, 319 total yards of offense, 230 in the air, 89 on the ground. Kansas City did something great in that game, Scott. You know what they did?
They do.
They didn't turn the ball over.
That's my favorite stat.
That's my favorite stat because unfortunately, you see how big a turnover can be.
Yeah.
And that hurt the Ravens in that ball game.
Too
Who
many.
3 of 11 on third down for 336 total yards, 255 in the air, 81 on the ground. You know what they did? They turned it over 3 times, and one of them was crucial by Zay Flowers on like the inch line, getting into the end zone. And that just shows you how much when they say it's a game of inches, that touchdown would have been crucial on the back end for Baltimore. Patrick Mahomes in that game, 30 of 39 for 241 yards, a touchdown. Travis Kelce, big day. 11 receptions, 116 yards for a touchdown. Lamar Jackson on the other side, 20 of 37, 242 yards, a touchdown and an interception with 8 carries and 54 yards. And although Zay Flowers fumbled that ball, he still had a big day, 5 receptions, 115 receiving with 1 touchdown. Kansas City gets that victory on the road. How about Kansas City this year for the first time having to go on the road twice? They went to Buffalo and beat Josh Allen, then come into Baltimore on the road and beat Lamar Jackson and company. Kansas City showed their resilience. And then in the NFC Championship, you look at Detroit versus San Francisco. Detroit blows a huge lead in this ball game. San Francisco battles back 34-31. San Francisco 6 of 12 in this one on third downs, 413 total yards, 258 in the air, 155 on the ground. On the other side for Detroit, they mirrored them at 6 of 12 for third down, 442 in total yards, 260 in the air, 182 on the ground. Both teams did a good job running the ball. I will say that. Both teams did a good job. Jared Goff in this one, 25 of 41 for 273 and a touchdown. David Montgomery is a solid back for Detroit. 15 carries, 93 yards for a touchdown. And Brock Purdy, who I don't know if people want to call him the game manager or is he just
Of the year. Of the year.
20 of 31, 267 yards, a touchdown and an interception. And Christian McCaffrey in this one, 20 carries for 90 yards and 2 touchdowns. Then we talk about now having San Francisco versus Kansas City in the Super Bowl. This is going to be 2 quarterbacks. You're talking about a game changer in Patrick Mahomes and then the game manager in Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy on the year passing for 4,280 yards, 31 touchdowns, and 11 interceptions. On the other side for Patrick Mahomes, he's passed for a little less than Brock Purdy for 4,183 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions. I'm going to be interested to see Christian McCaffrey against that Kansas City defense. He's rushed for 1,459 yards and 14 touchdowns. And Travis Kelce receiving the ball against that 49ers defense as he's received the ball, 948 receiving yards and 5 touchdowns. What's interesting in this one is the spread is so close in this one, Scotty. San Francisco is only at 1.5 in the spread currently as of today in this one. So that just lets you know this game can come down to a safety, a field goal. It is literally just that close when you look at both these teams, the championship pedigree between San Francisco and the Kansas City Chiefs.
For me, and I appreciate you as always, Perry, for being the analytics of the show. Listen, this comes down to who do you trust more, Patrick Mahomes or the 49ers? And I'm saying it just like that. Patrick Mahomes or the 49ers? Because you know this game is going to come down to Patrick Mahomes having to make a play against the said 49ers. And I think a lot of people aren't giving Kansas City's defense a lot of credit for what they've become over these past 2 years. But I think people have to really understand what Patrick Mahomes is working with. You can't name his, other than Travis Kelce, right? He has a bunch of no-name guys, Rashee Rice, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, some other dude that catches the ball from the YMCA. Like, I mean, it's just a whole bunch of pish-posh guys that he's taken to the Super Bowl, and you have Isaiah Pacheco in the backfield running the ball, right?
And
So
he's great catching the ball out the backfield as well, though.
he's decent. I mean, he's decent. And then you have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who does it the same thing as well. I mean, first round pick that you pretty much do not use, right? So you talking about a bust. But the thing to me is this. How does the 49ers attack this Kansas City offense? Because the one thing I could not stand watching that game against the Ravens is the Ravens allowed Travis Kelce to have a career day. 11 catches. Like somebody else gonna have to beat me. Like, I'm not going to let Travis Kelce beat me. And if you watch how they get him the ball, it's literally like watching the old Steelers and how they used Antonio Brown. Like, they would just move him everywhere to get the ball in his hand. So to me, it comes down to the 49ers defense and how they attack Patrick Mahomes. And does Christian McCaffrey, is he able to get off? Because if he's able to get off and to establish that run game, Brock Purdy's, listen, that 49ers game, I don't care what you can say whatever you want about Kyle Shanahan. Probably one of the best play designers in the game. Right,
He
so
got a lot of weapons.
Man.
Christian McCaffrey by himself, and then let's not forget about Kittle, who's quietly been sitting there waiting on a big game, and this could be the big game for Kittle.
Yeah, it could be, right? And you got Debo, you have Ayuk, you have Ayuk, Debo, Christian, Kettle. I mean, it's just too much to count, right? It's too much to have. So I think this game is going to be very, very well. This is the thing for me. If you remember back in the 4 years ago, Patrick Mahomes takes the lead with like 1:30, 2 minutes left in the game. And I told myself, there's no possible way Jimmy G is not that guy. I don't know if I can say that about Brock Purdy. I don't know if I could say if Brock Purdy has an opportunity to go down and win the game, that he won't be able to do that. What is he a little bit better than Jimmy G? Yes. So I can give him some kudos, but I've also seen him implode as well. So what Brock Purdy looks like in this game is going to be fascinating to me. So right now, who I'm going with, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. It hasn't done me well, right? In these last against the Bills, against the Ravens. And to me, I think they're better teams than the 49ers, in my personal opinion. I think the Ravens is a better team than the 49ers. So I'm going with Patrick Mahomes in a dome, in a neutral field. I'll take Patrick Mahomes in whatever else you want to give me. So I got Patrick Mahomes winning by 7. 4. By 4.
I'm going to roll with KC. Shout out to all my people. One of my best friends lives in Kansas City, man. I'd have kicked it in Kansas City and ate barbecue all over the place many days, all the way from the Missouri side to the Kansas side. I got family up there. I've been to Olathe, Kansas, Overland Park, Kansas. I done kicked it tough in Lawrence, Kansas at KU. So it sounds like I got some ties to Kansas City. So I'm not going to go against it. I'm rolling with the Chiefs, and I'm going to eat me some barbecue after they win the game.
All right, call lines are open, 518-263-8124,
You are the only participant in the conference.
518-263-8124.
All participants are muted.
Now, Perry, you had a great question, a really great question today for the trivia for Black History Month. Should I just play the video of who's the answer?
What does the poll say?
The poll, let me read the poll. The poll has TC Taylor.
Is there a way to put the poll on the screen?
No.
No.
Well, yeah, I can do that. I think I can. Let me make sure I don't got no sensitive
Let's
information.
give the people one last chance at it before we just unravel this package.
All righty. Window. So let me zoom in.
You haven't closed it yet, have you?
Nah, it's right here.
Yeah. Y'all vote right quick. Give them about 30 seconds to hit that. About 30 more seconds.
All right, there we are right here. Make sure you get your votes. We got over 200 votes. We got 240 people in the chat. Make sure we get 240 votes. Who is your decision today? Is it TC Taylor? Is it Tavares Jackson? Is it Randy Himes? Is it Thomas Ricks? Who do you have for today's poll? The question is, which SWAC football player played both quarterback and wide receiver and won back-to-back SWAC championships? Get your answers in. Get your answers in. I don't know if I have any. Hey. Hey.
I see the people love TC Taylor, huh?
Boy, you know Jackson people, they think they don't want everything.
Maybe they right, maybe they wrong. I don't know. I see it's close. We're going to find out here in a second.
Let me know when you're ready. I'm ready to drop the video whenever you are.
Well, whenever you're ready to close the poll, then we'll go from there.
All righty. The poll. Not the one you dance on. Is officially ended with the winner being TC Taylor with 46% of the vote. Randy Himes comes in at 22%, Tavares Jackson with 20%, and Thomas Ricks at 10% with over 212 votes. And the winner of today's poll receives absolutely nothing.
Randy Himes has had to mature, not only as a quarterback, like all young quarterbacks must, been playing the most pressurized position in black college football, and that's being a quarterback underneath a Doug Williams coach team.
He's a senior from Hitchcock, Texas, which is down in the Houston area, south of Houston, and actually around Galveston.
Quick drop by Hayes. This one complete to the 30-yard line as Randy Himes makes the grab for 15 yards and a Grambling first down. I think they did get a football that someone could catch. Sean Overton makes the tackle.
And Randy Himes is one of those guys, like Walter Williams. He started the season at one position. Now he's been moved outside. He was a quarterback. This guy lined up at quarterback. Thought he was going to be next in line, but they said, you've got great hands. You run well. This is the position that you need to be playing. And
catches in the season and wide receiver touchdowns. Here's a middle screen, wide receiver screen set up. Himes for the touchdown. Lays it up with some touch and the catch made. Touchdown. Himes again, his second grab of the day.
So Himes, who is 17-1 as a starter before being moved to wide receiver, back in at quarterback now.
Go well early on.
He's big.
He was 17-1 as a quarterback, and then they moved him to wide receiver. Who replaced him?
Well, he was playing against, I think at the time, was it Lionel Hayes, the quarterback at Grambling. So early on, he ended up being the receiver. Then they recruited Bruce Eugene. They was going back and forth. Bruce Eugene was young at that age. So when Bruce Eugene struggled, they put Randy Himes back in, and you're going to watch the rest of this right here. You're going to see how good this dude is.
6'4", 200 pounds, and he's got a gun, and he guns this one complete to Highshaw again. Here comes the pressure again. Himes will roll the pocket. Has room to run. To the quarterback sneak. Touchdown, Grambling. Haven't thrown to him all day. They won't throw it here. Himes rolls out wide open.
Quarterback spot?
I don't think there's any question. Look at this. You know you're good when you can hold the ball in the air starting at the 8-yard line.
1.5 minutes remaining to give the Tigers the victory. Here they are, first down, looking downfield. Anderson makes the catch.
Long and often.
And here's Himes throwing long and often. Looking for his receiver.
Oh, what a play.
Makes a catch. Still on his feet. Touchdown.
touchdown.
Levi Washington.
So here we are on first and 10. Great job getting away from one defender. But Hines is running out of room.
And he's still on his feet. Hines, he's got another defender to beat if he gets a good block.
Long now for the Tigers. And here's Hines. Got time. Going deep. Looking for a receiver.
Oh, Anderson still has him. He's at the 40. He's at the 30. Will he get caught at the 15? 10. Touchdown. Oh.
Hey, P, who's that announcer? I like him. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. Who's that? You're muted.
My man George Johnson, old school BET announcer. He was the man with the flavor.
I like him. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. I like him. When I was watching the video, I was like, I like him.
Oh, yeah, that's old.
Good protection. Got some room.
Oh, what a button.
Oh, man, that's some good stuff right there, man.
Man, let it keep rolling, man. You got to show the people. They don't know who Randy Hines is, man. You got to
That's
roll.
all I got. That's all I took. I took 2 minutes.
Oh, man. That dude's highlights is amazing.
Hey, listen, if you want to watch more of it, go to P's On the Yard Sports. I'll drop the link in the chat. Y'all can go check out the full video on the Yard Sports. Let me go ahead and get this for them on Sports. P got all the highlights of the old school guys.
And let me tell you about Randy Hines. You know, from Hitchcock, Texas, he ended up with 4,413 passing yards at Grambling for 33 touchdowns, won back-to-back SWAC championships in 2000, 2001. Of course, you saw him play quarterback and wide receiver. They were the 2000, 2001 HBCU national champions. He was the 2001 Offensive National Player of the Year. He was the 2001 SWAC Player of the Year. He was the 2001 Eddie Robinson Player of the Year, and he was the MVP of the Bayou Classic in 2001. And that wasn't enough. He also played basketball at Grambling as well. And he went undrafted in the NFL. He went undrafted as a free agent to the Baltimore Ravens. Also had a career playing with the Jaguars, Jacksonville Jaguars, as well as the Vikings.
Okay, man, Randy Hines, listen, and I agree. This is exactly what we've been saying. This is why we need a SWAC Classic Network to have these games, to have these moments, to go back and watch some of these old highlights, man, that are dope and experience. That dude, the announcer dude, he had me hyped, okay? Yeah. He had me dumb hyped. He was like, he's at the 30, he's at the 20. I was hyped, bro.
Man, I watch all those old school games, man. You said Alex Hines. If you go watch those early BET games coming into the early 2000s, the late 90s, man, listen. George Johnson was who you wanted to hear on a Saturday telling you BET presented by Southwest Airlines is coming on next. That's what it was. It was Black college football presented by Southwest Airlines coming to you next. So, you heard him. Listen, he was that dude. And he brought a different style and flavor to the game that you really, it was of the culture.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so, hey, man. No, he was that guy. Matter of fact, he was one of my favorites. I liked him a lot.
Yeah. So what happened? Does he not do it anymore? Or?
Well, I don't know. I think once BET began to fall apart with the Black college football, then you had NBC step in, who was owned by Robert Townsend, and ultimately ESPN came through the door and pretty much got everything. And that's when you start to see the Jay Walker days, because Jay Walker started out with BET, then moved over to NBC, and then ultimately went on to BET, and then Jay Walker kind of took it over from there.
Mm-hmm.
Along with my man Charlie Neal. Charlie Neal, that was the originator now. Charlie Neal started doing BET games in the 80s, came through the 90s. Then Charlie Neal moved over with ESPN as well.
Okay. And Gus Johnson started with HBCUs as well.
Man, that was the dude. That's who I wanted to hear on a Saturday back in the day watching some Black college football, because it was the energy that he brought in. It always had a flair to it. It was a style. It was it was what they called the early days of swag when in the booth up there. So, and he did it differently, and I enjoyed the way that he did it.
Man, I love Gus Johnson. Even when he does the Fox stuff now, I love Gus Johnson. He always has had a different flair. I remember when he was the voice in Madden for a year, I believe. and he would do like, he's gone, Batman. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. I was like, oh, that just used to give me hype, bro.
Gus Johnson.
Yeah.
He said you having a barbecue and you didn't invite me.
he just went viral on Twitter because I guess he was doing the Maryland and Iowa game, and he was like, she got her shit swatted. Excuse me. She got her stuff blocked. Like, yeah, like he cussed on national television. So that was pretty funny. He went viral for that moment. But
the other one he went was in the Red River Classic one year when he was talking about Dicker the kicker. Texas won the game off a field goal. He was like, Dicker, the kicker.
Oh man, he said, someone get that man a new contract. Yeah, but once again, I'm gonna keep saying it. That's why I feel as though we're not giving people of our own these chances to grow into these voices for us, right? When you keep putting, and once again, there's no disrespect to Tiffany. I love Tiffany's. No disrespect to Jay Walker. They do a great job. But when you only give them the opportunity to do marquee Black college football games, you never get to hear that new young voice. You never get to hear, the Valley kids, right? Like you only hear the Valley kids, on their own Mississippi Valley, network or whatever, right? So you don't get the opportunities to see your young voices to take hold and to grow into the sport that they love, or to grow with the people, or grow with the institutions that they've come to love and cherish. So that's the thing for me is having those opportunities for the younger generation to show their voices and to make it their own and to have a swag how they call the game. And I think we need more of that in swag football, because why? We do things differently. So why aren't we doing it differently?
And I can't forget about my guy for sure back in the day, Mark Gray.
Yeah.
Mark Gray for sure. He was one of those guys I used to listen to, watching him. Mark Gray and I are tight to this day. I'm tight with Charlie Neal too, but he a little bit more old school. So, but Mark Gray, hey, what he say, he's unfiltered. He gonna give it to you as it is, the real. And I'm with you, man. I would love to call a damn college football game. Let me call a game one day. Let me Perry and Scotty call a game one day. Let's bring some flavor. But the network now, because of the deals, ESPN has it all.
Mm-hmm.
So ESPN, they have. You typically get Tiffany and Jay for the marquee game. Then I forgot the other guy. It's two other guys that they have that does it as well. Vargas. It's two other guys. I can't think of their names, but they're like the other guys that handle it if Tiffany and Jay aren't doing it. But that's the thing about the SWAC. Once again, when we talk about, and I saw somebody saying about the network, that's why I created my own the yard sports. I go in, I cut up those games, I cut up highlights. And the thing about it, let me tell you how hard it is, Scotty. I did about 8 highlights. I did Bruce Eugene, KJ Black, Donald Carey, for those Alcorn fans out there, you remember Donald Carey. I did Terrence Levy. I did Thomas Ricks. I did what's my boy White Tiger from Jackson State.
Oh, Casey Terrio.
I did Mickey Dean from UAPB. I did a lot of these, right? You know how hard the fact is I couldn't find no highlights. I had to go through every game and scout all these guys. I watched so many Black college football games from back in the day. It's ridiculous. And I had to go find all of these highlights. I did Destry Wright of Jackson State, and to find these highlights and put them together myself. Then when I put them on there, the hardest part was it's hard to even find stats on guys.
Wow.
The schools, when you starting to talk about, I'm just talking about the early 2000s coming out of the 90s. I did Steve McNair as well. Steve McNair by far had to be the easiest stats to find. Everybody else, I couldn't find Randy Himes receiving stats anywhere. It was plenty of other guys I wanted to do from that time. I did not want to put them out there with a highlight video without putting stats to them as well. These are the things when you talk about your history. Scotty, we're just talking 24 years ago to 2000, right? We're not even talking about the greats of the 90s and the 80s, and we don't have anywhere outside of watching a complete game where you can go and learn about your history as a SWAC conference, who we say has this history, this lineage, this tradition, because we'll ride the coattail of Jerry Rice and Walter Payton till we can't ride it no more, and Doug Williams, right? But what about all the other guys who may not have made it big in the NFL, but were direct impact for this conference?
Yeah.
And you cannot go anywhere and find random highlights, stats. I had to dig deep down in the barrel. I'm talking about of old school blogs and everything from the early 2000s. And half the time I didn't even know if that was right, but that was the closest thing. I went to the school's pages. I reached out to people from the school. They're like, shit, I don't even know we got that information. You know, and that was tough because there was another guy I wanted to put. I don't know if people remember, probably not from the early 2000s, played at UAPB. He was a return man named Cedric Bowen, was from California. One hell of a return man. I still got his highlight. I haven't been able to release it because I reached out to UAPB and I said, hey, man, y'all got anything on Cedric Bowen? No. Don't have any stats from this man's career.
That's correct.
All I could find was one newspaper article, but it didn't give me stats. It just talked about what he did the previous game. This is why we have to do this as a conference, because people don't even know who the hell Randy Himes is and not know this dude was a superstar at Grambling. Played receiver and quarterback. And there's plenty more names of guys that are out there that, you know, either I just couldn't find the tape on them. You know, some of it wasn't good, like Destry Wright in the late 90s. I found some footage of him, but it was, you know, unfortunately, you watching something from a VHS that was recorded 25, 26 years ago. So you get the quality. So I did the best that I could with the quality to pick out the best highlights. But not only if I can get the stats, get the video of the guy, then it's having to find the stats of the guy. And that's the tough thing about our conference. That's the tough thing about the SWAC. We got a lot of Jaquay Nunley, another guy that I'm pretty sure a lot of people may not know about, Florida A&M wide receiver. Broke Jerry Rice's record in college football. You know, Jaquay was a big time receiver at Florida A&M. So I did his highlight as well. But man, it's just tough getting this information, and I have to scour the depths of the internet, Scotty. Scour just to get the guys that I did. And it was plenty more superstars that I felt that was, you know, of my era, because there's plenty that people will tell you from eras before. But we're just talking 20 years, 25 years that it's too tough to get.
My thing is this is my issue, right? What is the media director of the SWAC doing? Like, if I don't want, like, if you're the media director of the SWAC, why? And I keep saying this, and all people want to do is bash me. I'm like, you have a whole website that doesn't promote anything other than right now. Like, you can't go on the SWAC.org and pull up a game from 1995. 2001, 2003, you can't. So what are you? So to me, it's like you talk about and let's get this straight. Every old head that calls into my show talks about what the SWAC was. And all the SWAC continues to show you is that they don't care about their history. That's what the SWAC shows you. Like, the people at the top, they don't care about the history. But all the people underneath that have grew up in the SWAC, the Mr. Campbells, the Bobbies, the Mr. Fords, the Kincaids, all those guys who've grown up, who've seen the SWAC mature to what it is, care about how it got there.
And the conference as a whole, Scotty, whoever's always been in position, Black college football has been on TV a long time, longer than you and I have been alive. How in the hell does nobody archive any of the games? I mean, if BET was showing the games in 88, why didn't nobody say, let's archive this? If Jerry Rice was playing, man, you know what kind of footage you take to go back and watch Jerry Rice play? Willie Titan, who is his quarterback, satellite Titan, when you talk about what they were doing together, that is the stuff. I mean, unfortunately, I hate when you can go back and watch Archie Manning highlights from 1937, and I'm just being facetious, but still, you can go back and watch those. Like, what was we doing when it came to keeping the stats of our players and our greats and being able to archive the footage of our greats when we had them? Like, that should have been a collection of understanding. This is our history. And if we're talking about it, keeping our tradition and building it on to the next, like, there's no reason people should not know who Randy Himes is, and he played just 20-something years ago in the 2000s. But yet that's a name that's forgotten or never been known, right? I got to go within the past, Devontae Kincaid, you know. And let's talk about even with a guy like Leonard Tillery, come from Southern University. Leonard Tillery broke Destry Wright's record. He's the all-time leading rusher in the SWAC history. All-time leader. What are we doing to prop him up? I mean, I don't even think Lenard may be knocking at the door at 30 if he is 30 years old. That is somebody you're supposed to have on everything. This is your all-time leading rusher. He is a spokesperson for you. He can go out and tell guys, hey, I wasn't initially supposed to go to Southern, but I went to Southern. The opportunity presented itself, and I was able to be successful. This is the type of stuff that you got to do as a conference. This is why you got the SEC making sure they keep Bo Jackson alive. And you're going to watch a Bo Jackson. You're going to see jerseys of Bo Jackson. It's whatever and whoever else. You got to do this as a conference because we have our greats. We can't allow our greats to come and then forget about them and then move on and then just ready for the next year. You got to archive this, then you got to put it out there, and you got to constantly market it. You got to constantly beat people upside the head for them to be like, damn, I didn't know he played in the SWAC, or I didn't even know about this guy.
Yeah. Listen, I love Alex. And Alex did that because he's just like Perry. They love history. They love SWAC history. But no disrespect to Alex, that's not his job. What Alex Hines does for all the people in the masses of what Alex Hines, it's not his job.
The SWAC should have a room
Come
that
on,
is so
man.
big that they can just say, you know, let's go through, and they should organize what year, all right, let's talk about 89. Let's go back and look at 89. We had, you know, that should be the way we archive our history.
It to me, it should not be an issue to go get a game from 2000 to now. Shouldn't be no issue. Like from 2000, I'm not even, like you said, that's 20 years ago.
Well, the thing about it, you could probably find the footage, but it's hard to keep stats of these guys too. A lot of these SIDs that was around wasn't keeping good stats. You have to scour the internet, and then you'll go on the school page, and then the schools don't do a good job in terms of their athletic pages by keeping up with their greats and telling the story of their greats as well. You'll go on there and look up for a particular guy and say, man, this guy was great. And have a hard damn time ever even finding that guy on that.
And my point is this, then what the freak is the SWAC office for? If you're a governing body, right? If you're a governing body, yeah, I get it. The school, it's like this, right? It's like you have a supervisor, and then you have the supervisor. Like you have to look out for everybody. So there should be a standard held to everybody in the SWAC that says, we need to have this. We got to have this. This needs to be in order. But none of it's going on. I'm telling you, listen, man. I know people are going to say, Scotty, you're so. I'm like, yo, this is what happens when you just have too much nigga shit. You know what I'm saying?
And I got one even better. You talking about a pinnacle. Let's even look at baseball. Of course, Southern dominated baseball in the 90s under Roger Kadar, which I do a show with Roger Kadar. Y'all need to go follow and subscribe and chopping it up with Coach Roger Kadar. He's a Hall of Famer. College Baseball Hall of Fame. He's in 6 Hall of Fames.
Woo!
From Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame to College Baseball Hall of Fame. He actually received what they said in the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. He received more votes than Peyton Manning. But guess who he had on his team in the early 2000s? A guy by the name of Ricky Weeks. Ricky Weeks won the Heisman Trophy of college baseball at Southern University. I want that to resonate with people since they say, you know, the talent and coming on this level. The Heisman Trophy of college baseball was won at an HBCU by an HBCU player, Ricky Weeks. That should be everywhere. You'll never see that again in your lifetime. I promise you, you will not. First of all, black folks ain't playing baseball like that no more. Second of all, the ones that are playing it, the white school's going to swoop them up before you get a hold to them.
Yeah.
But you're talking about somebody who won the Heisman Trophy, and that's the only way I can get you to understand what I'm saying, of college baseball, and did it at an HBCU. But yet, we don't show, man, the SWAC, you got to have where is the footage? What about the basketball side? I mean, it's so much history, and I'm talking football, now I'm going to baseball, basketball. It's so much history, yet we don't talk about our history. But you talking about wanting to go be independent, though, Scotty. Hell, we can't even do nothing simple as
Can't get the stats right. Can't even get the stats right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Listen, man. It hurts my heart because what always comes back to my mind is why can't we just do good business, right? Like Why can't we be good stewards of what we have? Why we have a great product. We have a great fan base. We have a great entertainment value. Why can't we steward over it correctly? Why can't we put the things in place necessary to make these things happen? It should not be on individuals to keep a history alive when you have a governing body that should be doing their job. That's the stuff that frustrates me. And then instead of partnering with said individuals, Alex Hines, Perry White, to do the highlights and figure it out, and how we can come together and figure out how can we make a SWAC Classic network? How can we put together a platform and make it work for the SWAC? No, you just say no. We won't do that. We don't need that. We're the SWAC. We're a super conference. We don't.
Before you came along, and I told you in my early years of creating film and what I was doing, because how I got into all of this was I don't have no background in this. I was political science and initially marine biology, fisheries biology. I was going to be a scientist. But initially how I got into this, I told you I started writing for HBCU Digest. Shout out to my man, Jared Carter, with HBCU Digest. He came down to Baton Rouge one time and met with me. He said, man, I like you. Like, you, the way you put things. Would you like to write? And it was the same way, similar how you had that opportunity. And I said, right. I said, man, I ain't never wrote nothing outside of school or whatever, like writing sports. He said, man, put it together, write it, and I'll publish it and we'll figure it out. And I told you that at that time, it was Jackson and Southern had played in Jackson for 3 consecutive years. So that next season, Jackson's first time coming to Southern in quite some time. So I typed and did an article, and he went over it and it got published. I thought that was the greatest thing I ever did. It was like nothing I've ever done outside of anything in science, because I have an extensive background in research and science. But the average person don't give a damn about my research and science. That ain't entertaining. But that article got posted, and I was like, damn. But what I was realizing was, and this is 2011, we were transitioning from people reading to people watching. And I was noticing the transition because I saw Twitter and what Twitter was turning into, Vine and all that other stuff. So I was like, you know what I want to get into? I realized people not really reading much no more than watching. So I got with a guy. I had no background, and he taught me what I needed to do. I'm talking about, man, I'm in clubs, recording funerals. I'm recording weddings. I'm doing everything to learn camera work.
Mm-hmm.
So I started doing film work, going to SWAC games and recording the games, interviewing band directors, interviewing fans, just showing you and I called it the experience, the SWAC experience. And anybody don't believe me, I think you showed it one time when I went to Jackson. And I was ahead of my time when I was doing this stuff because nobody else was doing it. People either recorded the band or just the game, but nobody actually showed you the atmosphere. I went into the stands, hostile environments, interviewing people. I started putting it out. Tom Joyner reached out to me, and at the time, the Tom Joyner Foundation, which is still rolling today, but they reached out and was like, man, anything you need from us, we'll back you. HBCU Buzz started backing me. HBCU Digest started backing me. These were people like, man, you're doing something. I actually started having students write about me at Howard and at Hampton, writing about this On the Yard, but this was right before On the Yard started. But I reached out to the SWAC, and what I saw the SWAC mimic what I did. The next year, they went and did it, called it the same exact damn thing, called it the experience. So I tweeted to SWAC one day, and at the time, the guy who was there in that position was named Jashir Cox. I tweeted, and I thought, man, Jashir was cool. I had met him a couple times at some basketball tournaments, and I reached out to Jashir, and I said, man, instead of just taking the idea and doing it y'all way, it would have been great to reach out to me and let me work, because you just jacked the name. You called it the same thing I did. And I can tell, when somebody copying what you did, but they ain't quite, because they don't know completely how you do it.
I know. But go ahead. I know.
So when I did that, guess what? You think you got blocked? I was blocked by the SWAC on all social sites after that. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. And I was blocked for years. We're talking probably about 4 years, all because I called them out and said, instead of just jacking what I was doing, it would have been great to bring me in and let me work with the SWAC. I had the idea, let me work along with the SWAC. But no, I see what you're doing. We'll take it and do it our way. and just kick you out to the side so nobody know. So that's why I kept pushing. And ultimately, once I saw they was doing that and they kept calling it the SWAC experience, literally, you can look up the dates and see who did it first. And then you can see how they mimicked it compared to what I was doing. So that's when I started on the yard with my boy Garrett, who's the media director for the band. And I said, what I focus on is more talking about athletics, alumni engagement in the school. And I realized it's important to archive your history of the time frame of where you at, because things happen, but people don't know. So I started doing that. And what I realized, me archiving my history, I can go back and look at a time frame of when I was at Southern during that time. But anything before that, I have to scratch and dig. And I went to Southern with the same thing, saying, hey, man, look, I done created something that people are buying into it. I'm getting interest. They ignored me. So that's the point when I'm talking about media, not only from the SWAC office, but to our HBCUs. And we talking, Scotty, 2013, 14, 10 years ago, I was on this. So everything that seemed good now, trust me, I was ahead of my time then. People didn't understand it, but the number one thing, Scotty, they did not want to invest because they didn't see a value in it. And the number one thing people will do to devalue is they'll see you do it and think you made it look easy, so then they'll try to go do it themselves and realize it ain't that easy.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've been in this good fight, Scotty, for 10 plus years, trying to put this out here to show people. And ultimately, I got stuck in the Southern bubble because I ended up doing radio. I said, well, hell, you know, I'm not going to keep doing this for free because I'm giving you value. And you wouldn't believe how many students actually came to Southern, because at that time, YouTube was big. My boy Garrett was recording stuff, the events on campus, and then I was doing the on the yard. I would be on campus going in between class, and students would be like, you the reason I came to Southern. I saw your on the yard from last year. They gave me an inside look at Southern. I came to Southern. You know, they'll walk, are you Perry?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, bro, I love your work. I saw a value that they ultimately didn't see. The SWAC blocked me. Southern said no. And then that's how I am where I am today. But unfortunately, that's just it is. It's our own people.
Yeah.
It be your own people that'll do you like that. When you creating value and giving them opportunities to market themselves and be ahead of the curve and ahead of the game in order to see something, and they don't see it in you. And that's why typically we lose our greats out of our communities and out of our HBCUs because they feel more accepted and welcome somewhere else because somebody else will see your value and will pay you for your value and appreciate you for your value.
Absolutely. And I think that's the tough part, is that you feel like sometimes you have to go outside of your community to make it work. And then when your community sees you working or doing well with the whites, then they want to invite you back and say, hey, can you help us out? And you're like, I was here the whole time and you guys overlooked me, nor did you want to work with me. So, you know, you can't call me a sellout for starting here. You not understanding me. I leave. I get value somewhere else, and now I'm either considered a sellout, or now you want me to come back and help you when I was here the whole time. It's a sad situation. It
is. It really is, Scotty. And it's unfortunate that it happens. And I'm still here fighting for the good fight. Even when I see being held out, I done reached out. I send emails. You know, I talk to people, and it's still like, damn, they'll never see you for your value that you bring and that you have. Whether it's radio, whether it's I hold many skills. I can produce, I can shoot video, I can edit, I can get on camera, I can do radio. I have all of these skills, and I have continuously pushed to try to use these skills. But you know what? I don't kiss nobody's ass, and that's the problem.
No, listen. If you talk about anything in the HBCU community, if you're not kissing no ass, you know, you ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna just keep it a buck with you. If you ain't kissing no, or if you ain't got a homeboy you went to school with and was roommates with at said institution of Prairie View, that's how you get consulting. That's how you get consulting deals. It's not actually consulting real deals in major institutions or with organizations. No. You don't need that. You don't need that. You just had to be in a roommate with your frat brother, you know what I'm saying, or you know, or your roommate situation. Now he a doctor, you commissioner, he teaching. You want to be a consultant? I'll pay you good money. Let me answer this phone call with Smash. Smash, coming to you.
Hello?
Yeah, we here.
It was good, man.
It's good, Smash.
Yeah, man. Happy Mardi Gras, all the people watching, man. Happy Mardi Gras. What I want to say was Perry preaching right now, man. And Perry just said something that really hit home about like how he been doing this stuff. Like he been in this game 10 years, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy how people know you talented in your space and won't even use you because it's you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You see Perry just said, he just said that they'll try to do it, they think it's easy, and they'll try to do it on their own and realize that they can't succeed, and they still won't use you. That's crazy, bro. Like, and it's sad that us as a people, we do that a lot. Like, even when you started Smash Time, man, it's very home with that. Like, it's crazy how much stuff I want to do for my people, and I had to go do it for other people. And other people, like, they'll appreciate your talents before the people even back home or, like, your people you consider family or even the schools you went to don't even support it. Yeah, man. So, Perry, I definitely feel you on that. It kind of just makes you want to go harder, and it makes you always want to say, I told you so when you see them become late or get on the curve late when it's kind of too late, when it could have been capitalized off of your skills and the people around you. You know what I'm saying? That sucks, bro. That sucks a lot.
No, you're real. And to me, it goes back to talent, just being able to spot talent, right? Like seeing people, you're like, man, that kid's talented, or that kid's good, or that dude is this, or that dude is that, right? Like what Perry said for me, like FCS Nation came to me. They've seen the show a couple of times. They see me post on Twitter, and he just said, hey, man, I think you should write. You know, and I'm like, like, you know me, I'm the same way like Perry. I ain't wrote nothing in my life. Listen, I hate English. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, for him to see that in me is like, hey, I think if you stretch yourself, you could do it. And me just doing it a few times, I was like, wow, I really did write something. I'm surprised, right? So I think it's that when it comes to the SWAC and the MEAC offices is saying, hey, instead of always going out and trying to pay somebody to do something or trying to pay the top dollar, let's go find some homegrown talent, pay them what we feel we can give them, and let them go through their mistakes and bumps and bruises, and let's build something, right? Because now you start a pathway to say, hey, when they get too big for us, we got a pipeline of kids that we can just, hey, listen, go do bigger and better things. We gave you your start, boom, and we moved the next generation up. That's how life is. That's how most jobs are. So why not see it the same way?
And I see, Scotty, I'm telling you, I can see it now. The SWAC don't like, I ain't gonna say SWAC, I hate to say SWAC, but you understand admin and the SWAC gonna regret the day that they didn't like embrace like y'all, boy. Again, Perry literally single-handedly could be like a SWAC ESPN by itself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Let's not talk about y'all had like resources like interns and stuff. You know what I'm doing my media platform in New Orleans, Scotty. I can't wait to like I get to this next level like I want to, or we can come and bring it to like the platform and say, look, if I did this shit in there, not even a full year, I already monetized, already like getting crazy gigs. Why y'all couldn't do that with people we all had already in the space? So like, I don't know, we beating a dead horse, but y'all boys keep grinding out there. Anybody listening, don't let anybody stop you from doing nothing, man. Create your own space and you can win. That's kind of a little motivation.
Hey, I like that, Smash. Nah, I like that. Take that to money.
And I think Smash let me use one of his songs for On the Yard. It was a hit when it came on. Yeah. Ain't nobody messing with them Jaguars. That was Smash came up with that. You never heard it, have you, Scott? Have you heard it?
I heard it.
Yeah, that was a great intro to the show.
Oh, yeah, I heard. I saw the video and everything.
Yeah.
And we go hard. Yeah, we do. I'm going, man.
Hey, Smash. Oh, man. Those some good times. Those some good times. But, yeah, listen, man, I'll tell. The one thing I tell people when they ask me, like, how did I get in this space and how I do this and how I do this, I tell people all the time, I'm saying, listen, if you're not willing to work for free, you don't love what you do. Right? Because there are going to be times when you're on your way up that you're going to have to work for free. There was times I was doing YouTube, I was not getting paid. I was working on another full-time job, right? Like people see me where I'm at now, but like same thing with you, Pay. They don't see where you had to learn how to use a camera, learn how to edit, learn how to produce, learn, like you had to go through your craft and get the understanding. And it's the same thing with this. People think I just wake up and Yeah, a lot of it's natural talent for me to just talk, but you still have. I got to come up with the program. I got to come up with the graphics. I gotta know how I want the show to go and how I run it and things like that. And I got to see stuff. The thing about being in the position that I am and people at Perry is when you're dealing with other people, you have to see things in people that they don't see in themselves, right? Like Rocky. I love what Rocky has now done and become. I tell people all the time. I never met Rocky before when I asked him to be on my platform. I just heard him call in. I thought he had a great voice. And I was like, yo, I think you should do podcasting. And now he's doing his thing. He got his own channel and he's growing, right? You have to be able to see talent in people and give them their opportunity to shine and show themselves. Before I get to this call, I see you, FAMU KJ. Jamie, let's make that happen. Okay? Yeah, we know you. We know you got all the connections. Me and Perry go down to a D2 game. Now I don't know if he's willing to leave Southern behind, but I'm willing to go to a D2 game and call a game with you.
I don't know. See, that's why I want you to unplug me from the. That's what I want people. I graduated from Southern. I live in Baton Rouge, but I'm not stuck to Southern. Southern and I are not conjoined at the hips. I love my institution, but I do this. Look, I come on here. I don't talk Southern. Yep. Mike Reed, you had a show with Mike Reed specifically for Jackson State, right?
It's my guy. It's my guy. Yeah, that's my guy.
It was Jackson State, right? I'm open to everything, and that's why I started doing this show with you, because I would initially, when I would come on and be a guest, I will be on there defending Southern for something.
Facts.
Right? Some big game coming up. But then when we had that conversation last year and we came up with this concept, I said, man, I want to show people the versatility, because what people don't know, I have a long lineage of swag, and it's outside of Southern. You see how I'm dressed today, right? Because this for the folks who say it's all about appearance. Because even though you have talent, they'll find the dumbest shit to take it away from you.
That's facts.
Well, because you got dreads. Well, what does that have to do with what's coming out of my mouth with the facts and the stats and everything else? Well, look how you dress on it. Well, now I got on a damn tie and what's the problem? Obviously, I'm versatile. I can come on here with a suit. I can do whatever. If you pay me, I'll do what you need me to do in order to do it the right way for something that I love. But other than that, they'll find the damnest shit, Scotty, to try to hold it against you. Aside from the talent, they'll find the littlest shit. Oh, where you wear shades on there. So what? I'll put on my glasses. It's those things are fixable. Right?
Yeah.
When you was calling that game, you didn't have, but it was fixable. It was easy. Hey, all right, let me go get a whatever I need.
Yeah.
Right? Don't use anything else other than that. Because they'll find the smallest thing, minute thing, to try to devalue you, to make it seem like what you're doing does not have value. Because if you just don't want to work with me, that's fine. But don't find nothing and then, try to use that against me and act like that's taken away from the talent. I ain't go to school for this, and maybe that's a problem. I'm not a journalist. I didn't go to school for broadcasting journalism. I had to learn sitting in front of a camera, making mistakes. That's why when I go back and look at my old film, in the beginning, I'm like, damn, that was the greatest thing. Now I go back like, boy,
that was
the
tough.
Same thing with radio. Shout out to Reggie Flood. Reggie Flood gave me my shot at radio. He saw what I was doing on the yard, and he brought me on as a guest. After I was a guest on there, he kept, and I didn't see it at the time, but he was grooming me. And man, come back next week. Man, come back the week after that. Before I knew it, I'm the damn, and he had a co-host at first. Before I knew it, I'm the co-host. Now I've been doing the Jaguar Journal for like 5.5 years now.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
And I can tell you it was the point to where I had to do it. The first time I did a 2-hour radio show by myself, because Flood was out that day, I bombed it. It was horrible. I didn't know what to do, how to talk to, and keep it going, and then follow radio quota and all of that stuff. Now I can do it 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours by myself every damn Saturday, every day if I could, because I got the swing of things. Nobody's perfect when they start. But if you give somebody an opportunity and they to call it a diamond in the rough, ain't that what HBCUs was founded for in the first place? Diamond in the rough that the rest of the world said you wasn't smart enough, you wasn't talented enough, you wasn't enough, period. And HBCUs polished you off. And by the time you were done, you went off into the world and you shined. That's what we got to do as a community. More importantly, with this broadcast thing. Scotty and I come on here, people tune in, people listen. We can give it to you from, we can come politically correct, or we can get downright ignorant with your ass. We can go anywhere with it. But it's a versatility.
Yeah.
It ain't many people that have the versatility when you start to watch certain broadcasts and certain things. It's one way, and they all one way. And then you wonder, well, why ain't nobody watching it? Because it's not entertaining to what the people like today. And people, Cat Williams said it best, we live in the age of truth. People like the truth and unfiltered today. Nope, that's why Pat McAfee show has blown up the way that it did when ESPN said we can't take that type of tab, like, what you doing now?
It's too much.
And then stop their employees from going on the show. Now look at it. They done cut a big check and brought him in, kicked David Pollock off a damn College Game Day, to put Pat McAfee right in the middle. He has his show because in the age of truth, people like you to tell it as it is. Unfiltered. That's why you see all the podcasts and everything and everybody doing it. Even Stephen A had to get on what he called the man, a bitch, a fat bitch.
Yeah, never say that on ESPN, on the ESPN airways.
But you know why he's comfortable with saying it? Because people want to hear how you really feel today.
Yeah.
That's what the internet and that's what this gives. So them days of trying to act like you got to be politically correct and this and that. When you look at the landscape of media today, it does not signify that. And HBCUs, particularly the SWAC, got to realize we got to stop acting like we got to be all bougie and politically correct and can't nobody say nothing to you. That's the age of the truth that we live in today, and people speaking unfiltered is just what people like now.
Absolutely. That's a good point, P. FAMU KJ, coming to you.
Hey, all right. What's up, guys?
What's going on, man?
Hey, listen, man, I'm catching it kind of late, but let me just add this much, man. I'm a business owner, and Scotty, I've been following you, man. I'm going to say this. I'm a little older brother. I'm going to always, and I think I said this before to you, talent, hard work will always be trumped by relationships and networking. And it's a painful pill to swallow, but it's something that's truly there for this structure here in this country and in this world, that I don't care how talented you are, I don't care how hard you work, the ability to have relationships and hard work will always trump that. And then sometimes it's just disheartening because you've always been told, go and work hard and give it your best and you'll find good things happen. And sometimes they do. But you better make sure that you know somebody, that you build relationships, and that because that's what's going to get you to where you have to go. I can say I've been a business owner now for over 15 years, man. And I can tell you that most of the businesses, I can go out and I can market, I can come up with this particular formula, that formula, whatever. But if I don't have the relationships to get me in contact with who I need to have, it won't work. The relationships with the banks, the relationships with physicians, all these different things, man, is what you have to have. And as a community, sometimes we don't really understand that. And sometimes we think we can go against the grain. Sometimes we've had to do that to try to go out there and make it. And sometimes it's discouraging because you see somebody that's nowhere near as talented as you, nowhere near can do the things that you, but they got a way to get there. And it's because of networking and because of relationships. So you have to be able to do that. I know we've talked sometimes, I've mentioned to you, I know you were saying about, man, I listen to some of these other older cats and these guys, they don't do it like I do it and different things, which is true. However, what you'll find is that in this space, there are certain people that are gatekeepers, and it shouldn't be that way. But the way in which sometimes some things can open up to you, Scotty, is being able to some kind of way have a relationship. Now, you don't have to necessarily do it the way they do it, but sometimes the way you want to get onto that next level is sometimes keyed and based on who can put you in contact with this to take off, right? No, like I said, I'm just giving you a little game about how it is, man. Like I said, it's not fair, but it's the game. I mean, a perfect example, man, is that for the Pharmacy Association, some of the top pharmacists are Nigerians, right? Black folks who have pharmacies or whatever, sometimes we struggle like hell to try to make it, but we find out that the Nigerian Association, they're some of the biggest in the country. But can you get into that? Nope. because they got it locked, and their networking allows them to be able to come in, start their business, and they keep helping each other, and they bring each other along for doing that. So networking, man, relationships, that takes you a lot farther than just talent is important, but you got to have the networking and relationships, man.
I appreciate
I'm just saying that to you, brother, and good luck to you, man.
Appreciate you. Let me say this. I'm not going to disparage the comment because I do believe he's right. And there's a lot of aspects that is super, super true, right? But I am a firm believer in your gift will make room for you. Now, in the Bible, it says your gift will make room for you. But if you read the full context, it's somebody bringing an actual gift to the said person and that gift making room. But if you take it in today's time, that is considered bribery, right? So you can't, you have to look at it as your physical gifts, what God has instilled in you. And God's word says your gift will make room for you. So my belief is this: when things come up against, when things ruffle my spirit, and I've always been somebody to speak up and speak out. You can ask my mama since I was 10 years old. I've always come against things I did not like. If I didn't like it, I'm going to tell you what I do not like. I'm not going to, and I tell me and Mr. Campbell have an argument with this all the time. I'm not going to change who I am to make $1. It's not going to happen. If you want me, you want me. What I show. Now, I can manage my words and I'll take the N word out and I won't cuss and cool. That's cool. But if you want me, you want me. And you're not going to change me in that faction, right? Or that's just not a place that I need to be. And I'm cool with that. And I tell people all the time, if I never made another $1 more than I make today, I'm okay with that, because the peace and the quality of life that I have to be able to pick my kids up from school and do what I want, not ask nobody to go nowhere and do this, and I ain't got to take no PTO, I'm cool with that. Do I want to grow? Absolutely. Do I believe God is going to bring a way into my life to help me grow and grow this platform so I can bless my co-hosts like Perry, like Mike, like Rocky and Mr. Campbell, the people that have helped me reach these positions and help me grow this platform? Abso-freaking-lutely. Because to me, the problem is this: when we as Black people who know how hard it took to get there, you don't see a lot of people reaching back and pulling the necks, right? You don't see a lot of Mr. D's and Mr. Campbells who are willing to talk to me and, hey, move like this, do this. Hey, I'll give you this. I know this person, talk to this person. You don't have a lot of Black men willing to do that for you, right? So when you have that, and when I'm giving that to me, I know that's why I'm so willing to bring on new talent, because it's not just about me. It's about Perry, who hasn't been shining in all the, like, you know, Perry's been out here in the space, but me and him together, he tells you all the time, it's no stadium I can't go to, and people talk about, hey, you know, you're lying. You know, I've been looking for you. You know what I'm saying?
I've been looking for you, nigga.
You know what I'm saying?
And look, and I don't have a problem with saying nigga, because look, us as Black folks, and think everybody who get on TV, even Stephen A. behind closed doors say nigga. You can't tell me he don't say nigga. But trust me, when I get in on the prime outside of this right here, there's some internet shit we doing, right? So if we on the internet, we got the ability to do what we want. But if you want me prime time in front of the camera for the market because you're paying me, I get on the radio every week. I don't cuss. I can do a 2-hour show without cussing. Right? I get paid to do that. I get paid to do that, so I follow the rules. And that's why I try to tell people, because what you hear on this show don't mean you can't go nowhere else and switch it up. It's the same way when I could be like, man, that's a bitch ass motherfucker right there, boy. And then I get in the meeting, I be like, yes, sir, how you doing? You know, I can switch it up. And, you know, that's the thing about it. That's be the little stuff, once again, Scotty, where it's held against you. And I know my guy's talking about networking. I'm a networking girl. Listen, you talking about somebody who will go work a room?
Yeah.
Me. I'll talk to everybody. And I don't care if you don't like me, and I still would talk to you. I'm a networking dude. Now, okay, I know they say it's not about who you know, but who knows you. I mean, it's not about what you know, but who you know, but it's really about who knows. When your name is brought up in the room and they say your name. Now, a lot of times what happens, and I feel, because I hear what he's saying, but he's in a broader spectrum because it's pharmacy. We ain't just talking black folks. He can talk about them Nigerians, but pharmacy is all over. There's a lot of different colors in pharmacy.
Yeah.
It ain't a lot of different colors in HBCUs. And one thing about black folks don't know how sometimes to differentiate personal from business. And they'll take personal and make it their business to hold it against you.
Yeah.
Instead of just saying, okay, personally, I may not like dude, but business-wise, I like what he do.
Yeah.
You know, I don't gotta like it. Like, I don't like everything you do, Scotty. You remember I used to tell you when you was doing the Captain Petty Sergeant Smoke? Like, damn, bro, like
You gotta let that go, man. That's just too much. Yeah.
But I'm not gonna hold that against you because I realized the depth of it. That's just you being creative. You building something here. To be creative, you got to do something off the deep end to get people to see you and understand what you're doing. That's why they call it going viral today. It's always something that starts off and then it brings and generates everybody in, right? That's why you can see folks do a car commercial and say something crazy, then it go viral and everybody know about the car company, the car place now. You know, it's just those things, but don't act like I'm just one way, like I can't switch it up. I can go any way with it. Sit in a room and have a conversation with me instead of judging me.
You know, the thing for me, Perry, that I can't stand, right? I'll never forget, I had a conversation with a white dude. He had never met me before. Never met me before. We have never had a conversation. And he was just dropping F-bombs and MF for this and this, that. And I'm like, and he wasn't talking to me. He was referring to somebody. Like, man, I can't stand that motherfucker, man. This fucker, and I'm like, and I'm thinking, I'm like, there's no way as a black man that I would have got on the phone with a white person and said those, even if I was in the power position, right? Because it just, my mind doesn't even grasp how you're able to talk like that and you don't know me, right? But white people have this unfiltered, just, like, you don't talk like that? I talk like that, and it really blew my mind. I'm like, and I still talk to Key about it. I'm like, babe, I just can't believe he said that, and he didn't know me. Like, he just having a regular conversation. And I'm talking Perry. The conversation was crazy. Like, somebody, his wife titties got involved in the conversation, and it was crazy, bro.
You wouldn't believe how many people of status that I talk to, black folks, and say nigga all day to me. And I'm talking about of status. Mr. Campbell said these are some dignified, you know, these folks is of status. You know, these are CEOs and vice presidents and presidents. I get around those people. And one thing about me, when people come around, I want you to be yourself. Don't be on that politically correct bullshit.
Yeah.
Talk to me, because I'm going to talk to you.
Yeah.
But if you got me, I switch it up like everybody else do. When you get in front of a meeting, we're going to conduct this meeting. If I'm going to get on the radio, I get on there and I conduct myself the way I need to. I'm not one way. I'm just not some ignorant dude off the street, right?
Yeah.
And I know people constantly talk about the networking. But once again, when people personally have an issue, and you'll find out in the black community, it happens often in business. Because we're talking about an HBCU space right here. Now, we can take this and flip this and don't talk about an HBCU another day in our life and come on here and talk about white folks and the PWIs and the colleges and that.
And probably blow. And
first, y'all will tell me I'm a sellout. Second, then why would y'all even do that? Right? Because I saw what they did with HBCU game day. They said, hey, we're going to start covering Colorado with Neely in the pregame show. What the hell is going on? Right? I can tell you just simply like with my own yard. I post shit all day, every day. People say they support HBCU, and it may not be because they like me or they may not like, but I post the content nonetheless.
Yeah.
I'm putting it out there. I posted that one South Carolina versus LSU thing. The support crazy. I'm telling you, a week later, it's still going crazy. So it's what we choose to do. We yell that we like this and we do that and we'll support this and we support that. But most of our biggest problem was in our community in terms of what we consider value. Because you don't think it's a value if I post it unless Beyonce on it. Unless you see Jay-Z with the talking about the, but if it's us and you say you support it, you hear it. Them white folks don't even follow my page, my On the Yard Sports, which if you look at it, it's predicated to, you can't tell this. They following me, Arkansas, LSU, South Carolina. So when I started looking at it, I said, hell, I'm gaining more traction in a short time with just off of this than all this other shit I'm doing.
Yeah.
So you don't think that's going to be enticing for me to then want to move into that space if I see the opportunity?
Absolutely.
Everything I said I tried to do at Southern, I go by LSU and I watch one thing about I'm a sponge. I soak up everything. And I tell you that all the time. I watch so much stuff and I look and see what people doing. I look at what they can do over there at LSU with the Tiger Sports, with their media and everything else. I'm just as talented, or if not talented, more talented than those cats. But they build support around them. They lift them up and send them off. And then when they lift them up and send them off, they did already trained up the next group that's going to come up and take over. They lift them up and they send them off. Now I hear us as a community always say, well, if all else fail, we'll put our back up against the wall and say that's what we do. But in actuality, we don't do that. You will get on the phone and talk about me like a dog before you get on the phone and push me to somebody and speak highly of me. You'll find the one wrong thing about me before you'll talk about the 20 good things about me. And we can't sit here as a community and act like we don't do that, because we do. You'll go to a black restaurant because they made you wait 15 minutes to talk about how horrible the service is, but go to that Asian restaurant and let them talk about you like a dog and see how nasty they are and keep going in there. We talk about the white man's ice and all that ain't cool, but you damn so tune in to ESPN and you wear that as a badge of honor.
Boy, don't get me started on that.
Oh, it's on ESPN? Oh, yes. How many more ESPN games can we get? But that ain't yours. So that's what I'm saying. It sounds easy to say all that shit, but in this world, and I'm a realist, so I'm not going to hear the sugarcoat, and I know everybody's background different. There's different strokes for different folks, but the way I see the world could be different from how somebody else see the world, and I respect that because you're entitled to your vision. I'm entitled to mine, but the way I see the world through the third eye and the realization of what really lives around me is our community ain't as tight as we say we are, and we see it firsthand at HBCU. Yeah. It's supposed to be the most close. It's supposed to be our Wakandas. It's supposed to be the Mecca for black folks, and yet that's where you see the most drama and bullshit.
It's facts. And the thing that, and I'm gonna say this because I gotta go pick the kids in a little bit, but I'll say this: the thing that is most I still, when I put up my text number and people text me and say, "Hey, Scotty, I can do this for you," it still shocks me because I never expected to come from my community. I really don't. And that's the sad thing about it, because the thing for me is I know there's some powerful people in my chat. I know there's some powerful people who know powerful people. And anytime they hit me up and say, "Hey, I know somebody, I think you should be in contact with them," or, "Hey, I know this and I think I can help you here," it shocked me because I'm like, wow, there are people willing just to help you because I like what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like on Four Brothers, I like the way you do business, right? So, so it's that for me, and it touches me because I'm like, there's a black family community vibe to it, right? And I appreciate that, and I respect that, and I'll never let that go. But what's crazy to me is I've had 2 to 3 propositions to come and go and take my platform to a white space, and I've said no to each one of those opportunities because I'm like, that's not what this was for. I didn't build this. I feel like I didn't want, and listen, please, when I say this, it's no disrespect. I didn't want to be Jeff Lightly, right? To where you jump into something because of the wave and then you jump out of it because of the wave, right? Like, I didn't want to be that. And I wanted to say, hey, if I'm gonna go into that space, I'm gonna do the way I said I was gonna do it. I'm gonna build something outside of it, or build another avenue like the show that we're trying to bring together, and we'll talk about the white stuff on the white stuff. You know what I'm saying? On the white side. But I wanted to keep what we have, right? Like, this is what it is. So, it's things like that for me that it makes it just kind of gets me all.
And we still love our people because we
Absolutely.
still sit here talking about HBCUs, even because we know our people. But like I told you got good black folks, then you got niggas. And we know that, right? And if you got a problem with it, that's just you, then. I'm sorry, That's just you. I'm unfiltered, all right, on this space right here. I know when and when not to, but I'm unfiltered. And I'm telling the truth because you know niggas and you know good black folks. There's no way you can be on here and not say, "I don't know any niggas." Yes, you do.
Yeah.
All right, but the thing about it, at the end of the day, we still here. Regardless of everything, you can like us, bringing something to the light, not like it. what we do is create the conversation. What we do is have the conversation. This ain't nothing more than the barbershop. Somebody in the barbershop gonna have stats, because when you talk about LeBron James and Michael Jordan, somebody gonna tell you, do you know how many defensive player of the years and MVPs Michael Jordan, he averaged this? That's just a conversation. Then somebody gonna yell out, nigga, you don't know, and then that's the conversation.
Yeah.
But this is what this is, and whether you like it or not, it's good conversation. It's good conversation. It leads somewhere. It gets you to think. It opens the door.
Yeah.
It's not scripted. That's why it's called Offscript. And at the same time, that's why it's outspoken. It's a safe space. If you don't like it, you've always said, unfollow me. Come back the next day. Come back another day. But this is what we do. And at the same time, we ain't on here just hitting y'all upside the head with a hammer. I'm talking about bashing. If it's brought on here, there's probably a reason it was brought up. The same way we having this conversation. Don't mean I hate the swag of HBCUs, but when you around niggas, you know how niggas operate, right? When
That's
Debo coming down the street, you tuck your chain.
Debo.
Why do you tuck your chain?
I want to get it tucked.
Because you're dealing with a nigga. That's why I'm putting it like that.
Yeah.
And hey, take it how you want, but it's just the truth. You know what you're dealing with. So we know what we're dealing with in this space. And from time to time, we'll tell you about what we're dealing with in this space. Because with our mindset, we think outside the box. We're not in this zeroed in path that people will want you to be in. And that's what makes you great when you created to be outside the box. That's why a lot of people can't accept when you outside the box, because it's a threat to their thinking. It's a threat to the way that they control to be content. And it's a threat to those that they keep around, that they probably got around them, that may not be as talented or can do as much as you. But you know what they can do well? They can kiss ass. And I stand on it. I do work. You asked me to do work, and I'm a hard-working brother. Look, I got about 15, 20 jobs. I don't care. I work. I'm a hard-working brother. My mom raised me to be a hard-working brother. I'm going to do what I got to do in order to make money, in order to provide for my son, and to take care of my life and do the things that I want. It comes ups and downs. I'm not one of these folks to try to act like I'm always up. I'm not. That's life. I don't live in a facade to have to make sure your opinion matters to me. I don't give a damn what you think about me, right? I don't have to have everything, the latest stuff for you to feel like, oh, he up. No, I'm real. Life is real with me. It's going to have peaks and valleys and mountaintops and all the way down to the that's just life. I'm not here to give you no facade like this is just, it's all good and I got it all. No, I don't. Nobody got it all together. You can be up today and down tomorrow, but the thing about it is be real with yourself. And don't be worried about what nobody else thinks. But outside of the box is what I'm saying, is what make you and me the creative people that we are. It's the creativity. And sometimes that outside the box, because when you go to school to be a journalist, when you go to school to do marketing, they teach you a certain way on how to do that.
Yeah.
There's a curriculum. When you got people like us who are just talented, we didn't get taught. So you kind of going against the grain of what's been put out there for somebody to follow the rule, right?
Yeah.
We don't follow the rule, which is why you see athletes starting to grow in the space of podcasting.
Absolutely.
They don't follow the rules, and people like that. Like, damn, that's different. And that creativity opens the door to where you will shine outside of them. But then that's the problem. The guy talking about networking, the group that you're networking with have been taught the curriculum. They've been taught a certain type of way. Then here you come, you the eyeball, you different. He don't follow what we do. We got a certain decorum on how we do this. And I use Pat McAfee. That's how they used it against him. At the end of the day, he got the last laugh.
Absolutely.
Our people need to stick together. Regardless if you like me or not, it's the talent. Regardless if you don't like the way I go about it, I ain't hurt nobody. I ain't killed nobody. I ain't been in and out of jail. We two brothers having conversation, dialogue, and willing to agree to disagree, and we ain't cussing each other out, fussing, looking ignorant, stupid on here. We talking about colleges. We talking about education. We talking about athletics. We talking about going to games, spending money. How can we get more money? How can we do better deals? How can we make ourselves more valuable? Not only us, but the schools and the conference. What's wrong with that conversation? Oh, you don't like how we going about saying it. Cool. That's why we'll continue to build. And one day when you see it, I may be able to open the door and answer the phone, but it'll be once you go on to the other side. Then they be like, damn, didn't he used to do that with y'all?
That's fair. That's real.
So
it's real. No, man, it's a great conversation, bro. Listen, we gonna get up. I gotta get up. Oh, we gotta call the guy, N.O. Joe. N.O. Joe, I'm gonna hit you up, then we're gonna get up out of here. What's up, N.O. Joe?
Hey, what's going on? Now, Scotty, you got the following. If I was a SWAC, I would be using the hell out your ass. I'd be using you to promote my shit, to promote everything, putting the word out and everything. I will be using you. My thing is, the SWAC, every week, I got to ask somebody, where can I watch goddamn basketball games? And they got this HBCU Gold contract, and they're showing one goddamn game a week, one goddamn game a night. I will be using you. I will be using the hell out of it. I don't get down what you say. I'm going to say, Scott, look, this is what we're doing this week. Promote this shit. I don't get down what you say. Because you're going to get the word out. You done created so many superstars in this HBCU space. You don't put Andrew Bynum like he's a superstar, but his stats don't say that. His wins don't say that. But if anybody outside, they would think he's a superstar. But his wins don't say that. So keep doing what you're doing. If the SWAC, if you're listening, get out your feelings and use the hell out of Scotty. Pimp him. Give him all the information so he can put it out there. I'm gone, man.
Read that N.O. Joe. First of all, let me just say this. Boy, don't Andrew Buddy! He's a talented young man. Okay, he can't help the team he was on. He was one game away from going to the SWAC championship at Texas Southern. I'm gonna say that again. The only way that the only way his team even got in is because Andrew got hurt. Okay, so let's just make that very clear.
Are you talking about me?
No, talking about you.
Now you flip the boot.
I'm just saying I'm just saying.
Bro, don't try to talk about me to lift up what you said.
I'm just saying the only way y'all got in was because Andrew got hurt.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
That's facts.
That ain't got nothing to do with me.
That's facts. It was
I'm just saying, stick to talk about Andrew Body. You said
it's part of the narrative. It's all part of the story.
I don't need to be the buddy in the joke.
But it's the truth.
You can leave me out your truth. Speak your truth, brother.
I'm just saying he's a talented young man. He put Texas Southern on the map when nobody cared about Texas Southern. Let's
and just keep that Texas Southern, not Southern. You ain't have to say
he not at Texas Southern.
I got to the SWAC championship. No, we got that because they lost.
Yeah, because he got hurt.
That ain't got nothing to do with me. That was you talk to Alabama A&M. They the one hurt them.
I'm just saying that's the only way y'all even got in the game. That's all I'm saying. But like I said, we'll see what he does at Alabama State.
This bullshit.
We'll see what he does. And listen, we've said the whole SWAC thing. I agree with N.O. Joe. They wouldn't be pimping me because they'd be paying me. I mean, I'm that's a whole nother show for a whole nother time. I'll go there when I feel like going there.
For the people, man, I ain't no angry black man. I ain't difficult to work with. I'm not upset. It's just real. I've been in the space a long time to see it all type of ways. And I've seen more ways than plenty of y'all that's in that chat. I've seen this space. I know how diabolical this space can get. I know how close-knit it can get. Not just at any particular institution, but as a conference as a whole. I've seen it from many different. So this ain't just me speaking out of the past how many months. I've been around a long time in this space, and I've seen a lot of people come and go. I've seen a lot of people try it. I've seen a lot of people do it. So that's just me letting y'all know how it goes and what's out there. I don't have no hard feelings. I'm cool with everybody. And Scotty will tell you, if anything, I try to bring everybody together if I can. Don't I, Scotty?
Yeah.
I want everybody to eat and get it together. Just realize, let's do it. Because at the end of the day, we keep talking this black stuff, man. I'm a man of the people. I'm a man of the community. I support my black folks.
That's true. That is.
Have that same energy with me. Is all I'm saying. If we're going to do it as a community, if we're just going to talk about it, we're going to be about it. That's all I'm saying. It ain't got nothing to point out to one institution or one particular person or anybody. It's us as a community. PSA for all y'all is what I'm saying. We all need to do the same thing and do what's right with each other, man. instead of picking and choosing. And if we're gonna do it right, white folks don't pick. When they together without even saying it. Go get a job and watch you fool around and train your boss. You qualified, but you done trained your boss.
That's real.
Cause what? He the owners or somebody else supervisor's nephew or cousin. But we won't even put each other on. Because guess what? You so happy you got it and you get it. You don't want nobody else to get it. That way, when you come around, you look like the man. Am I lying?
No, you ain't lying.
I'm just saying, I know my people. I know niggas. I don't know why people get on here and act like I just made up some shit like you.
Y'all thought I was swearing, but I told y'all.
I don't know why people act like they don't know their community. I guess folks forgot where they came from. I guess 2024, I guess we no longer come from that no more, man. I know my community. I know the hood I grew up in. I know when I go back right now what I see and why I'm so thankful to God that I was able to get out and be able to get where I'm at in life. Because I look back and be like, boy, y'all ain't know nothing. That's why when you say you don't go back to Pine Bluff much, no, I do not. I know what's going on. I'm moving forward, brother. There's a whole world out here.
Man, I gotta go get these kids, man. You about to make them get picked up on they about to get sent back to the school. Hey, listen, I appreciate you, P. We gonna come back next Tuesday. We talk about we're breaking down the Super Bowl, going into the SWAC tournament. All right, listen, until next time, you know what I would do. I'ma holla. God bless you. Boy, you stupid.